Okay, there guys, that's Mythic Run. We're back. And today we're back because, well, it's Wednesday, so we're going to play anyway, but we're also back because they're doing a midnight discussion thing today coming at noon Eastern. So we got about an hour and 15 minutes for that. We're going to react to that live. I'm going to watch it, then I'm going to give my reaction to it. Probably talk about that for the rest of the stream after it, and continue to do keys after it. Obviously, we'll take a break while we're watching it, but I'm excited for that. Very exciting time. I feels like a lot is very exciting right now, so I'm excited. So anyway, we'll try to get some keys done beforehand because I still have only finished 2 for the week, and I definitely want to try to get 8 done, obviously. But been having some trouble with that. Our key is currently Hall's 16, which it's like, it's just such a difficult thing to do now, I feel like. But I think we have, unfortunately, no choice. Unless we change it, just do somebody else's, but I think we are stuck doing our own key. But anyway, welcome guys. Duncan, Mario, welcome. We'll try to do this and maybe upgrade it, but it's not resilient, so it's not great. Like it means we're probably gonna be stuck with another 15. I'm a DK, cool. Yeah, it's agreed. Good morning, Bryce, welcome. Not something to brag about if you ask me. Oh, I thought that said Moonbreon. I was about to invite him just for that. No druids. And we already got one Death Knight. Oh. Yeah. Good morning, team. Who's ready to suffer today? Why suffer? Nobody's suffering today. Today's the exciting day. We played with that guy just the other day, didn't we? There's some... Hold on a second. Is he on the sheet? I think he's got to be. The name sounds very, very, very familiar. That's the guy who got in an argument with us after the key in the floodgate, right? I think that's him. Windwalker's interesting. T Chink, I think. Welcome. How's it going? It's hot here, and the data set I'm working at today has facility cooling issues, steadily increasing temps that will end up being 90+ degrees. Whoa, is that going to be a problem for their business? Sounds like it would be an issue. That's why I'm here. They need an architecture consultant to figure out their fucked up infrastructure. Jeez. Well, cool. I don't know what any of that means, but good luck to you and them. What is like the job, like if you wanted to get into the field that you're in, what did you study, or how did you get into it? Because I don't even know what that means. Like no range sign up, it's crazy. Try to find at least one ranged, but I guess maybe we don't need it. Hey Andrew, welcome. LSD Traveler, welcome. Ugh, God. Frostborn. Arcane. If he was Frost, I would take him. No school for me. I ran a server hosting company in high school that blew up and then sold. I switched to working in intelligence and still do server infrastructure. So how did you learn to do what you did? Like just from somebody else teaching it to you then? I don't even know what most of those words mean. Server infrastructure consulting. Like what is that? It's like how to optimize the data being stored or something? Is that what that means? What's your favorite comp to play with Blood Death Knight right now? Doesn't really matter. Why Frost over Arcane? Just because they're like hopefully a better player usually. Arcane seems to have collected like a lot of really mediocre players. Very mediocre, unfortunately. I've had a lot of trouble with Arcane raid this season. Wait, what is this quest?
I live to serve.
Oh, it's an actual Shadowlands quest.
Always a pleasure.
God, man. Just looked at the spreadsheet. Tell me I'm seeing this wrong. One Fire Mage all season. Nope, that's definitely... I mean, it's possible I made an error at some point, but I doubt it. It's just not popular. Self-taught. I just read manuals back in the day. The start of my interest was hosting Ventrilo servers for friends. Server infrastructure is in my role includes the physical servers. Gotcha. Oh, that's cool. Sounds fun. I would love a job where you can get to like travel around and help people. That sounds awesome. Wow, it's only melee, huh? I feel like at this point, anyone playing Fire has been playing that class for a while. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Kevin, welcome. How's it going? I bought the new Final Fantasy Tactics. Nice. Yeah, let me know. I looked a little bit into it. I didn't realize they did full voice acting. That's pretty cool. That was like the coolest part. But then I heard the dialogue and I was like, oh, it's that shitty fucking Shakespearean, like... It's almost like kind of like Game of Thronesy, but it's little... Yeah. Storm scale with a Asperlon sounded name. I'll check them out, I guess. It's good gig. A lot of it is demanding hour-wise if you want to go anywhere substantial. Very similar to finance stuff. If you're doing under 70-hour weeks, you kind of get laughed at. Oh, damn. Forget it. 70-hour weeks. What the fuck? It also has the old version. Yeah, but I got that one already. It doesn't have voice acting for the old version, right? Greetings, sadistic welcome. Yeah, we'll be watching the deep dive together. Back to the queue. Achilles, welcome. Yeah, it's supposed to be in an hour, so hopefully we'll... I guess our best case scenario, since it's taking so long here, is we'll just wait after this key. Oh my god. I'm not quitting to the menu to check, but I think you can choose voice acting or true vintage. Well, if you ever check, let me know. I probably won't buy it regardless. It's too expensive, $50. I don't have money for that right now, but either way, I'm very happy with the original and the ROM hack for it. So I don't imagine I would play the new one, but I do want to do a playthrough of my ROM hacks, my ROM hack of the ROM hack at some point. But I just don't have time. I'm fucking like all in on working on the new Pokemon game. And I actually got the AI. I don't know how many people were here for that yesterday. I was waiting for Dylan to show up so I can thank him. But yeah, I actually got the AI to help me fix my problem yesterday. It took a very roundabout way, I think, but I figured it out. Actually, I'm not even really sure what I said to get it to care enough to help me. But it asked me if it basically told me to what did it tell me to do? I just don't want to misquote it, just so I could say out loud what exactly happened. It asked me for diagnostic outputs to, I guess, I don't even know what it's. I don't know. I'm not even really sure, to be honest, but it basically asked me to run some script in the game and it would make a text file with all the shit. And I guess we're just going to take this guy at this point, but yeah. And so I ran this text file and it like, I'm not even really sure what I did, but I gave it all the info it needed. And then it was able to help me, which is like, whoa, what the fuck? I wish I knew that was an option. It's ran 3 diagnostic checks. Method matching for move, method matching for egg shadow, and method matching for first. Don't know what any of that means. And then I sent all that data to the AI, and the AI then knew exactly what it needed to do to help me fix the problem. So I did that. I guess like these are things that are like defined by the game. And then once it had these, it was able to actually tell me how to write the code, and it works. So that's cool. Exciting. Maybe now I can actually do a lot more with it. I'm at a crossroads. I've been trying to get Agrimar stored for a long time. I could just buy it and remix, but it feels wrong to do that, does it? I mean, do you want the transmog or not? I don't. Most people would probably buy it off the auction house if they could. Okay, hopefully we can upgrade this. But Denoise, what's up? Welcome. But yeah, once Dylan gets here, remind me to bring that up because I want to bring that up to him. Thanks to all who contributed to that conversation yesterday. Basically, I just started the conversation with the AI by saying, like, listen, I can tell you don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do it either, but I would like you to try to teach me to know what I need to know to be able to figure this out on my own. And I went through like 3 or 4 processes with it, and it eventually did that. And it told me basically like, you need these things. Neither of us know them, so this is how you would find them. And it taught me how to make like a script to make like all of that compact into one area for some reason. If I buy it, I would have wasted all the hours trying to get it. No, I mean, that's not how wasting stuff works, first of all, but I don't like, do you want the item or not? Like, I don't know. It's not like a skill-based thing to collect the transmog, right? I could see why if like you were to buy 3k score or something like that, maybe you would say that, but yeah, damage. Priest died. Always something. First pack too hard for people. I had hoped he would mind control the stuff too, but I guess that's never going to happen in a pug. If you guys don't know, you can mind control the Dark Blade, I think it is, and it'll put the debuff, that's debuff that I have, all damage taken, it'll put it on the target of its melees, or whatever, its spells, you know what I mean? So you can actually debuff the Shard of Halkias over the course of the fight. And potentially probably all the bosses. I haven't seen anybody do it, but I've been told that it works that way. Hey Doom and Mansoor, welcome. Do you have a favorite and best comp? No. Morning Wow Kid, welcome. You're right, it is. You got it. How was your vaults? What did we get? I don't even remember. Wrists or something? Yeah, wrists. That feels like that was ages ago now. I wonder how much damage it adds. It's a ton, yeah. I mean, it makes the mob take, I think it's 2% more damage every stack or something. And it's not something you lose anything from what I could tell. I guess you would have the most fun when Death Knight is more meta. It would be nice to get invited, but I don't really like want to be meta or anything. I just want to get invited. Unfortunately, when you get like, if Blood is the best tank, then you get a lot of people critiquing how you're playing Blood. Whereas now it's in a situation where I can pretty much do whatever I want. Nobody knows anything about it, so they're not going to comment on it. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks, me too. We'll find out in about an hour when we have this announcement how good of a day we're having. If Ian mentions me personally on the announcement, I'll be having a great day. How cool would that be? The cop flavored monk is killing it. Yeah, he's doing good. I think the spec's solid actually. Morning. Oh, Retro. Okay, you were one of the people who we were talking about the AI stuff with, and I want to just thank you for the help and encouragement. I did get it to work eventually. I'm not honestly even really sure how I got it to do this, but basically eventually the AI asked me to tell it all the stuff it didn't know, and it had me run like a script in the game that like outputted all the different, like, I don't even know, like words or something that it didn't know. And I ran the script, and then it knew exactly what it needed to do to make what I wanted to make, and it works now. I just want to see Metzen. Do you think he's going to be there? Probably not. I don't think he does those kind of announcements. Probably be moving on here. They said Metzen will be there with Ian. Oh, did they really? Cool. Blood BIS healer, yes sir. Hard to argue with that. What were you trying to make with the AI? I was trying to get my Pokemon game to allow the move tutor to allow your Pokemon to learn egg moves from the move tutor as well. And it was something that had worked in my first Pokemon game, but that was using an older version of Pokemon Essentials. So I wasn't sure how to get it to work in this kind of newer but not super new version. Oh, did it aggro the Gargan? That's not good. Take a wide enough berth, I guess. Yeah, I get, yeah, one way or the other. Thanks for the help. I'm not really even sure what I said right or what I did right, but it worked eventually, and now I'm hoping that it has that info I can actually use that same technique to get any other info that doesn't work properly. But I was able to, the big thing I was really happy with was I was able to actually get it to like explain everything to me. Like I still don't understand why the words that are used, but it was explaining like line for line what the code meant, and that really helped me feel a lot more confident about the changes I was making. Did you hear about that AI Darth Vader in Fortnite? No. I don't pay much attention to Fortnite. Yesterday I went into Sam's to get a hot dog for lunch, and I just so happened to catch them having Prismatic Collection. Ooh, yeah, they just dropped it last night, but for some reason they failed to actually drop it. None were like available to be purchased. I would have killed for that to be able to get that. I really wanted to have one more Prismatic opening, but I don't think I'll ever be able to find MSRP products. I wouldn't invite a healer with a name like that. Oh, what does it mean? I just invite them because they're in preservation. Oh yeah, trading post. You gotta remind me. After this, we'll go to the trading post. I opened one, and I think I'm gonna sell or hold on to the second one. Yeah, I don't blame you. Happy October? Yeah, not really, but fall's shortly here. I think it's pretty much here, unfortunately. Have you seen the new Charizard card? Yeah, I did, yeah. That's gonna be a top hit of the era. Do you think it'll be more than the Umbreon, though? I wonder. I love autumn. I hate autumn. Because that means winter's there as well. Fast approaching coldness, and I fucking hate being cold. But now at least I finally have some physical activity I can do indoors. That's really the big reason I hated winter, was because of my mental health would always go to fucking shattered. Would get shattered. But now at least I have basketball every Sunday, hopefully. Move to Florida. That I can definitely not afford. And even if I could, I wouldn't want to leave my family here. I don't even fucking Florida though. I can't even imagine moving there. Does not sound interesting. If anything, Arizona. If I ever could go to somewhere that was warmer, it would be Arizona. There's Dylan. Welcome. I just want to thank you for your advice and you know, that conversation we had yesterday. Thanks to your guys' advice, I got the AI to finally do what I wanted it to do, and to make my problem. It like worked first try as well. Basically, I'm not even really sure what I said ultimately that got it to work, but I just had the AI try to teach me the stuff instead of try to do it itself. And I figured out, you know, what the problem was that needed to be fixed. And it suggested that I run some script in the game, and it outputted all, like, I guess the variables or something that it needed that it didn't know. And now it's like, now it works perfectly. Like it did exactly what I wanted it to do. So I'm hoping that that can be a really good start, and maybe I can continue to use whatever that method of working in the first place was to keep building the game better if I ever need it to happen. All things considered, this was a relatively benign issue. It should have been easy to solve. I just didn't know how to solve it. But yeah, I am encouraged by that fact one way or the other. Arizona is good, but boy oh boy, it gets very hot. I know, I love the heat. I'd rather be 100 degrees than 20 degrees. That's for sure. You couldn't pay me to move to that hellhole known as Florida. Yeah, I don't. Can't imagine I would go there, frankly. But yeah, definitely if I want heat, there's other options. Good game for the Red Sox last night. The pitching, again, as expected, did carry them. I can't believe Crochet, man. He's so good. I don't actually know who your second guy is, though. Hopefully we'll have a win tonight. Otherwise, season's over, which I'd honestly be fine with at this point because I really don't have a lot of time watching a baseball game. California would be better. California comes with some other issues. But I won't go there. But, yeah. Unfortunately, California sucks. I went there a couple years ago for BlizzCon, and it is not as warm as I thought it was going to be consistently. And the people there seemed to not like the weather. It was really weird. It was like 65 degrees out, and the people had the AC on. I was like, what? What? 65 degrees out in November. Basically the same temperature as it is right now here. So not even warm. And they had the air conditioning on anyway. I was like, what are you guys, crazy? You live in a place that's famed for its nice weather and you're hiding from it? Really weird. Arizona already sounds hot. I already die if I venture to Spain. Oh yeah. Yeah, Arizona's like basically like a desert-made city, so. My normal body temperature is at least 23 degrees Celsius. I know. It's crazy the Mets didn't make the playoff. You think that's one of the worst collapses in MLB history? I wouldn't call it a collapse, no. But, I mean, it is a big waste of money. That's for damn sure. The biggest collapse could have been the fucking Tigers, man. They were up by 15 at one point, and they almost lost. They almost didn't make the playoffs. They didn't win the division, though, right? Or did they win the division? I'm not even sure, but it's crazy that that was even in question. I went to grad school at the University of Arizona, coming from Virginia. That place is the surface of the sun. I like it. The Tigers did not win the division. That's crazy. That is wild. I know they're in the wild card, but I didn't know that if the Indians won it or not. Or whatever the fuck they are now, the Guardians. Did time 16 floodgate? Nope. We haven't even entered one. Been a while. I mean, the external temperature for my surroundings needs to be at least 23 degrees Celsius. So yeah, that's pretty high, isn't it? Or is that really low? Okay, I guess we're done. Dragon healers are the worst. 4 deaths now? I guess. I don't know what the problem was there. I like how fast you voted no. I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't like that they were able to do that. But so our key's pretty much fucked now because now we have a 15. I have a key we don't need. I think most people feel comfortable at 20 degrees. Oh yeah. I don't really know what temperature is normal for that degrees. 23 degrees equals 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, okay, so that's cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, all right, we're gonna go check out the trading post. Although I don't know, maybe we'll try to do one more key. I guess we should try to do one more key because it's only 11:15. My landlord limits the heat in my apartment. Oh yeah, that sucks. Oh, that guy was unholy as well. What the hell? What time is the blizzard thing? 45 minutes. The fuck? Declining everyone. What the fuck? These people are so weird. I love it on the cooler side. If I had infinite money, I'd keep my house at 68. Nice. Kyle, what's up? Welcome. I prefer the cold over the heat. Dry heat is okay, but humid heat is the worst. I do agree. Humid heat sucks. Yeah, I guess we just do our own key again and try to change it. I don't know. It sucks having to do a 15 now when we only need 116. The unlikeliness of getting this one is going to be really high, I think. We can wait a minute, I guess. I like 82F, but wear only boxers and tank tops. Nice. Yeah, I definitely prefer to be hot. I hate being cold. Give me hoodie weather any day of the week. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's, to me, it's like, it's just like what comes next, I think, is the big issue. Because when you have winter, it's like you can't do anything, you know what I mean? So, like, in the spring, hoodie weather is, like, kind of nice. Because, like, oh, it's starting to get warmer. But in the fall, it's like, it's starting to get colder. You know what I mean? Have you tried drawing other people's keys when you have all 16s done but one? Yes. There's just no floodgate listed. Were you not an orc? Yes, a whole new character. It's been years and years since I played the orc. Alright, have the thing too high. Nobody's gonna sign up to this. Did I miss the midnight thing? Nope, that's in 40 minutes. Shadow not looking too great. Yeah, that guy didn't do well. I haven't invited a Shadow this season that I thought was a good pick, unfortunately. I'll be looking at the trader post after the key. I gotta try to get one more in here before the thing. Xbox Game Pass is going up from 15 a month to 30 a month. Oh god. 30 a month is a lot. Can't go ice skating on the lake in the summer. True, but you can't drown in a frozen lake either in the summer. That's the good part. That's a 100% increase, yeah. What aspects make you more inclined to invite people to your group? I don't know, really. It's kind of just like I wing it, honestly. I don't really have any anymore. I like to have like a good composition that I think is good, but I don't really have a definition for what I think is good. So it's honestly kind of just like winging it. Like right there, we needed blowouts. Faxi signed up, so now the rest of the players just like, I don't even care, you know what I mean? It's like, let's just move here. I did see Saudi Arabia bought EA. That is kind of scary, honestly. I don't understand what's going on like financially with that country. They like seem to do nothing but waste their money on shit. I get why they do it, but it's like, well, I don't like, do they just like lie about the money? Like there's no way they have this much money that they can just waste money constantly on things, right? At this magnitude. I get there's oil, but like it's not infinite, right? It doesn't seem like it doesn't make any sense. They're gonna run out of this shit eventually. They don't know what to do with their money. It seems like weird though, doesn't it? Like, surely they could do something actually productive with it instead of just waste it. Like, they keep putting money into failed boats, and it just sinks. Now, look at how much they're paying the live golfers. Like, they lose money, like, hand over fist every event in that tournament. And it's like, I like it. I don't hate it. I know a lot of people hate it, but, like, it's a fine product, but it's like, it's never going to make money. And they just sinking hundreds of millions a year in it. It's like, what the fuck? Why would you do this? Like, there's something you can do with that money that would actually make you money. And they just don't seem to care, I guess. They just don't want it. I mean, yeah, so like, that's what I said. Like, you can afford it, sure. Like, all right, I just got given $1,000, right? I could spend that $1,000 in something that will give me $2,000, or I could spend it on something that will give me $0. I would regularly choose the $0 in the Saudi Arabia perspective. So you're just not going to have money eventually, right? I don't get it. My buddy used to work at a very high-end golf course, and Saudi princes visited. Says some of them make over $1 billion a day. I've heard the numbers. Honestly, I don't believe it. I think it's fake. I think it's like posturing shit. Like I think it's mostly like because for some reason Arabic cultures have this decadence issue where they like. I think it's like in the religion as well, isn't it? Like there's like opulence problem in their cultures for some reason. And I think that's like ultra end stage, whatever that is. I don't know why that's a thing, but I've heard about that a lot. And so, yeah, I don't know. Islam practices austerity, yeah. That's what I meant. Like what I meant by in the religion, meaning it's like warned against. Like you should not behave this way. Name one thing they could do in a desert, turn it into not desert, which is what they've done, right? They've tried to build islands. Or is that not them, but other countries have tried to do that, right? I am a subject matter expert on this for my main job, Metro. Your main job? How many jobs do you have? Even their little kids are super rich. Inviting people, I feel like I'm checking off a list. Less battle res and at least somebody with a party buff. Yeah, it does feel like a wing a lot of times. There's just not enough people out there, you know. Intelligence and CT is my main work. So wait, what were you saying? You were a matter expert on this? Was that? Hey, Saf, welcome. Okay, we got less than 30 minutes to do this key. Hopefully we'll fax it. We're gonna blast it. This is the warlock from that No Lever group. Is this a viewer?
5, 4,
Or is it just a coincidence?
2, 1.
If so, welcome and thank you for coming. You guys actually need this key, so could be a coincidence, I guess. Good luck, thank you. Hopefully we'll get it done and quick because it's actually going to be pretty tight. To time it, we're actually going to end up going right to the, like, it's going to be 11 o'clock pretty much. Unless we time it multiple minutes under or something. My side work is server infrastructure. I'm just a consultant nowadays.
Beware.
Oh, private threat models for firms expanding in the Middle East. What the fuck? Well, anyway, I was just talking about like the idea of it. It seems really weird. I guess what I'm probably missing is that like the wealth is not commensurate with the cost of things in their world. It's like if you had a gazillion dollars, it's like, what does it matter? Because I can't buy anything with the gazillion dollars that actually is a thing. You know what I mean? The best you can do is get scammed. Like that's all you could ever do with that much money. You can't ever purchase something. So they just spend it on things that they think are important, even if they're not. The Saudis and Qatari families have near infinite money and they don't usually lose money. They're totally happy buying assets and sitting on them for eternity. How do they not lose money? I don't get it. Like that's the thing that's confusing about it is like there's no way they're making money with these purchases, right? At least from what I can tell. I mean, I don't understand how you can buy EA games for that much money. And live and all these other like the cars and the soccer and all this other stuff. Like there's no way they're making money.
Beware.
That was a lot of damage.
Beware.
Oh, this key's getting destroyed. Shard of Halky's already almost dead. 5 for 15 billion now. Send the company extract insane value in private. All private goes to them, not shareholders. Then milk it as long as they can.
Beware.
So it's like, even if they lost money for 49 years but made money for 50 years, that's their strategy. A lot of the 55 billion purchase was clearing out debt by EA. Oh, really? Could they make more money in other ventures? Probably. See, that's what I mean, though. Like, why do these ones? Like, it's just somebody's passion project? Like, I don't get it. I think the golf one makes the least sense out of all the ones I've looked at because it's clearly there's no market, there's no availability in the market for a second golf league in the United States. They tried to force one by paying people absurd amounts of money, but the stars just don't pull that. It's not that kind of sport. And it really just compromises the quality of the product and everybody, it's like exposing the value of it. Like, it doesn't look good. Is this the famous hostage stream? No. I'm not sure what we did wrong last key while those aggroed that guy, though. I guess we just got too close too quickly. If we talk about product quality, then BioWare were on credit for 10 years now, yeah. Also makes you wonder what like the true value of the company actually even is. I feel like EA Games is like probably should have been shut down a long time ago. Outside of sports franchises, I'm not aware of what products they have that are moving the needle anymore. Yeah, Warlock's doing good. It's a player we played with last couple weeks ago. Got stuck. They're probably only in the 10 to 15 billion range, yeah. EA makes shit ton of money with FIFA. That's right, yeah. But I mean, like, besides the sports stuff, like, what do they have going for them that would be worth that kind of investment? What was the purchase for? You know what I mean? Like, what are they gonna do with it? I think people were suggesting that they were gonna like make a live game. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Like, since they have all these sports things and Saudi Arabia is like addicted to buying sports things, they're gonna try to merge that, I guess. One thing size especially will do is overpay for something to set a standard. They have investments in a lot of other gaming firms and can now point and justify their assigned values.
Beware.
Is that how it works though? Like if you're the only one buying anything, how could you say the market is true?
Beware.
FIFA is more of a gambling game. Yeah, I've heard about that, yeah. Kind of crazy. I used to like the FIFA franchise a lot.
Beware.
Did you get anything good from the vault? Yesterday we got the wrist, yeah.
Beware.
The ultimate team games. What are ultimate team games? I've never heard of that. I'm truthfully not aware of what games they even produce at this point, but it seems like a very bloated company for very, like, I don't know, games that seem to stand out to me are games that are on the rise, and I'm not aware of any EA product that's on the rise. I just started taking first 12 today, and I have to say that by far the most difficult thing is gathering pulls and keeping aggro mobs. Oh, really? Definitely gathering, I can see that. Mass Effect, Battlefields, yeah, like, that's what I mean, like, would you say those games are on the rise? Like, it's basically just sequel after sequel to try to capitalize on the original rise. So, like, where's the long-term value in buying those game IPs? That's not good. Yeah, I aggroed that, didn't it? I fucking hate this dungeon, man. I really fucking hate. Can you just remove this bullshit, dude? It is so fucking annoying, man.
Beware.
All of these runners. Oh, the sport ultimate team is where you buy packs. Oh, I see. Okay.
Beware.
We're about to get knocked out of the playable area. Not really. I opened my main vault in Holy Spec because I was boosting a friend's alt and got Mythic Parapodia. I don't know what that is, but sorry that happened to you.
Beware.
BF6 beta was insane. Oh, really? Is it still popular? I'm surprised to hear that. It seems like these games like that in Call of Duty, it's like you just keep remaking the same concept every couple years or something, and it's like, I can't imagine why I would keep buying them. If I played one of those games, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm done after the 5th purchase of the same game over and over again. BF6 was only popular because it's basically COD now, and all the COD people are praising it. Oh, really? I hate this dungeon so much, man. I don't know how the fuck we wipe this boss of all bosses. No, it's nowhere near COD, although it gives very similar feels as its very popular COD Modern Warfare 2019. Oh, really? I hated this dungeon in Shadowlands. I loved it in Shadowlands. It was fucking outstanding in Shadowlands, but they ruined it with these fucking gargoyles, man. They took one of the best dungeons ever and made it one of the worst dungeons ever. Every new game is new story, new maps, new guns, bunch of new content. Is that's enough for you? You're satisfied with that? What DPS classes do you like to play with? All of them, I guess. I still blame Bethesda for all this microtransaction BS. Oh, really? It's comparable to WoW expansions. WoW expansions are all one character, though, right? That's the thing. Those games make you start over every time, and there's no character progression or anything. That's why I can't imagine buying it. Like, I don't want to keep buying a new version of the same game over and over again that doesn't actually carry on anything that I did. Did you play Oblivion back in the day? No. I think Augmentation Evoker should be a tank spec, though, yeah. Bit late for that conversation, unfortunately. Satisfied enough to play seasonally. I enjoy mindless aim training and shooting with friends. Nice. Well, then I guess they got you. COD has way too similar shit, especially very recently. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, all of those games seem like they're just not. I don't know why I would keep buying them over and over again. Yeah, I almost feel sad like you're stuck buying them because like the hive mind of people are going to keep leaving the game, so if you want to play online you have to. I don't know how Aug Tank would work. Yeah, it wouldn't. It was always going to be a finesse class and there was never going to be a tank spec for it. These types of games grab suckers. It does feel that way, honestly, sadly. My eyes just glaze over when I see new COD or BF trailer. It's just explosions. Yeah, it feels very like repetitive and forced, right? Like I remember the first Call of Duty. It was like, whoa, that's a cool idea. You know what I mean? And then like the first Modern Warfare was like, whoa, cool spin on that. And then now it's like, well, that's just the same game for the 8th time. I don't know why you keep remaking it. Why don't you just add shit to the first games? It was one thing when I was like, look, we got brand new graphics. They're going to be crazy good. And now it's like kind of plateaued. It's like not improving. The first leaks for an AUG were Earth Warden, which was a tank class. Yeah. That was just fake, I think. I don't think that was a leak. I played BF1 today for 3 hours. Still feels amazing. Yep, that's what I mean. Like, those games are very good and very innovative and very interesting. And then it's basically just the same recycled formula since, from what I can tell. The graphics are getting worse, arguably, really. I bought BF1 for $3 USD and I'm having a blast. You can still buy it, that's funny. $3, that's a good deal. That's why I respect games like Dark Souls and stuff. Like, they could have just made Dark Souls 8 by now, you know what I mean? But they stopped and they reconsidered the ideas that made Dark Souls great and made Elden Ring. And they could have made Elden Ring 2 by now, but instead they made a badass DLC for the first game, you know what I mean? Like, and now they're trying to reinvent that wheel too. Like, it's actually really good for this, and I don't know why more companies don't try to do it. I think they're just fucking lazy and they just don't, they're not as creative as they hope they are, and they just have no other choice but to rehash the same thing over and over again. Compare Witcher 3 to new games, the games are getting worse. Yeah, I definitely feel like that. It's happening a lot across companies that are like EA, you know? Seem soulless and they seem like they don't really have much passion behind their development. Games used to be really creative and with imagination. Now everything is focused grouped to shit. You see the same story time in every game. Every time in every game, you know? A lot of games have been progressively getting worse. Yep. Any of the like major sequels, I think, like they're all getting worse. I don't know about the sports games, but like the last time I looked at the NBA game, it was like not even, like I didn't know why you were even paying for it. Other than an updated roster, it didn't seem like they had any actual new features that were worth paying for. Somebody, I don't know how they don't have this, but somebody should have just made like a good, high quality, like high graphics sports game, and you just release seasonal updates for it. It's like 20 bucks, here's the rosters for all the new teams and all the stat changes, and that's it. You don't have to keep buying a new game every year.
Beware.
EA just got bought by Saudi. That's why we're talking about it. Yeah. One game that always stuck with me was Psychonauts. I wish they did more stuff like that. I have NBA Jam on the Game Gear. Oh god, Game Gear. E33 is Game of the Year. Oh, Expedition, yeah.
Beware.
Then I can't sell card packs every year. Yeah, that's what I mean, pretty much. Like, you're right, you can't. It's supposed to be a video game. Go sell actual cards. How much time do we have? Not a lot. You have to sit here and wait for the whole time. There actually is a real reason why this isn't done, though. Licensing stuff with team tie-ins. They have to, what, like renegotiate the licensing every year? They tried back in early 2000s, but the first FIFA revoked their license and then sued them to oblivion. Oh, really? I stopped giving any merit to Game of the Year when Astrobot won. Astrobot, what is that? FIFA sold the rights to EA, huh? That's interesting, I didn't know they ever didn't have the rights. When did you say that was? Early 2000s, interesting.
Beware.
I now play Rematch as a stand-in for FIFA, and it's really good. What is that? Another soccer game? I was waiting and 100% sure Black Myth Wukong was going to win. Oh yeah, did you guys play that game? I never played it. Is it good? I had hoped when it first got announced that it was going to be more like a Dark Souls game, but it didn't look like it. It looked more like almost like a God of War type game. There's kind of a lot of action, but not a lot of skill. It was amazing. It was pretty mid. Was the combat skillful, or was it more like spammy and action oriented? A PvP soccer game, 1v1, 3v3, 5v5, and a Rocket League-esque arena. Oh, that's cool. It has a lot of Souls-like bosses, but does it have Souls-like combat? Because it didn't look like it did. What is even going on in this game, man? Combat is fast compared to Souls-like? Yes, I figured. It doesn't look like it. It looks more like an action game, like I said, like God of War or something. Using the long staff to stun is pretty cheap, but the bosses are pretty killer. Nice.
Beware.
It's gonna be a long time before any Souls-like can top Elden Ring. Yeah, that's why I was just saying, like you don't see them making Elden Ring 2 just to capitalize on that fact, you know what I mean? The game's perfect as it is, and it doesn't need a sequel. It just needs more development. Not as hard as Elden Ring, but easier than Lies of P and God of War, I guess. I'd say combat is very split between God of War and Souls. Gotcha. Yeah, for me, if you can't dodge or avoid 100% of the damage in the fight in any, like, in the entire game, then it's not a Souls-like. That's just done. Be done with this. Don't know what's going on in this group, but thanks for coming. If you guys, whoever else is besides Faxi, but this healer is ass. Yeah, I don't know. I've gotten disillusioned with this at this point. No Elden Ring 2025, Elden Ring 2026. What is that? I think Hollow Knight Silksong comes pretty close to Elden Ring personally. In what way? That's why I like those 3 I named. Perfect parries reward you heavily. The 3 I named. Oh, Liza P, Wu Long, Wu Chang. Gotcha. Absolute Zero. Were you the Warlock? If so, thanks for coming. But yeah, that group was Warrior not great, and I guess Paladin not good. I don't know. I literally watched the player who got the smash just roll out from the dot, rot out from the dot. Oh yeah. Well, it's all good. I guess we'll have to try it again later, though. Unfortunately, I really don't like having to do the same key over and over again now. But I just don't even give a fuck. I'm ready to watch this announcement. I would have left that key, honestly, if I had to. Don't care about that key at all right now. Get that on the sheet. Paladin. There's a new add-on that's getting popular. It's called Key Count. It tracks all your keys done. That one's been popular, I think, right? I saw people talking about that a lot in Dragonflight. Yeah, 4 minutes. Time to move on from that key, that's for sure. Alright, is this, yeah, here it is. Here's the video I uploaded this morning. You guys are interested? We're 9 episodes into the Pokemon Crystal remake I've been making, and I will be continuing development. We are pretty far along. Well, we've made a lot of progress, but we're nowhere near the end. It's going to be a very long process to develop that game. Because I want to do all the content from the ROM hack that it's based on. And I want to do New Game Plus as well. Although we'll see, I might not, because they already kind of set up replayable battles. But I would like to do New Game Plus, I think. Something I wanted to do the whole time. But yeah, I'm going to watch this live, and if you guys want to watch it with me, I'd love that. If not, no worries, but we will be talking about it probably for the rest of the day, I'd imagine, after this. Nah, Nintendo doesn't seem to have any interest in fan games. There are thousands of them. That would be a good neutral place with a lot of music. Oh yeah, we'll check out the trading post real quick. We still have a few minutes. Good morning. What's the announcements? Dragonfly or midnight stuff. Yeah, midnight deep dive.
I have many goods for you to see.
What are you offering? Let's see. Headless Horser. That's like a new Headless Horseman mount or something. Oh yeah, this looks actually kind of cool, to be honest. That is terrible. Rain suit. Yeah, the blades are good looking. I'm buying that one for sure. No. That's a one-hander? I mean, it's cool. We'll add it. See how much all this costs. Profaned Staff. Infernal's Profaned Staff. Garbage. That's interesting looking. Ooh, a shield. That's kind of cool. A torch that's not a torch. All right. A dagger. A lot of stuff that's just feeling garbage. So not really much here. That set's kind of unique though. Oh well. I don't have the parasol already. So do we buy the mount or the? Yeah, I think we buy the transmog. We actually have a lot of stuff, or a lot of currency or whatever. That's from buying the expansion, I guess. Should we buy that transmog too? I think we'll just save it for a month. That's better. This month, not very good. But yeah, that sword's awesome looking. How do you go to the cart now? Oh, there it is. Alright, buy 1,000 stuff, yeah. Nah, that mounts. It's good, I guess, but I'll never use it. Actually, I don't know. I'm not a mount guy, but it's kind of good. Yeah, fuck it. Still only half of our currency. There's gonna be 3 more colors of that mount. Oh, really? I like that one the best, I think. I don't know what the other colors are, but it matches the set insanely well, too, which is why I would buy it.
Safe
And then what's the monthly thing? Red, blue, and green as well on top of the white one. Oh, look at the pumpkin. Oh, it's another mount. Yuck. That's to capitalize on. Oh, it's like a Draenei elephant. That's cool, actually. That's cool, actually. Legion remix starting though. There's gonna be a lot of cosmetics coming. All right. Well, now we wait. Unopened. This would go really well with that white Arathi set, I think. Elephant with tentacles? Yeah, that's cool, right? I feel like that set would go really well with it. Or also, there's also the one that I crafted, right? That's not really the same color, though. These are so good looking. I wish I had these so bad. but I just have no desire to go get them. Well, we can't actually see the mount, right? You can't. Can you do a mount on here? I don't know. Such an improvement from the old one, though. You can't like actually look see what a mount would look like with transmog. I think it would look sexy as fuck, though. Actually, but I'll never get that set. Okay, well now we wait. How long we gotta wait now? It's only a few minutes. Oh, I got a little timer. On Wowhead you can, yeah. That new one is sick with the mount. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So is this actually live or taped? No, it's taped, yeah. These are all done months in advance usually. Or not months, but weeks. It was just leaked. AUG evokers are the main talking point for this deep dive? What? That's a joke, right? Let's talk about Midnight. Instead, we're going to talk about one spec. Timer's on 2 minutes. Oh, really? Good call. Hey Cop, what's up, man? How you been? My second AUG spec has hit the tier list. Don't forget to mute in-game audio. I like to leave it on so the stuff doesn't get like banned or whatever. Let's go to a different part of the zone so there's not as much active music. Doing better, brother. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm glad that you're here to watch us for this. I'm excited to watch it. These types of streams should be streamer safe, you'd hope, but no reason to take a risk. I had multiple strikes for that Gamescom thing. So, no thanks.
What's up, everybody? Here at the end of The War Within, the first dramatic chapter of the World Soul Saga, we've seen the adventure take us into the depths of the world, and even to worlds cast out in the great dark beyond. We've seen our villain Xal'atath running around and amassing untold power. We've seen her siphon the energies of Dalaran, and even those of the black blood beneath Azj-Kahet. And recently, Xal'atath assumed the power of the last Void Lord, Dimensius. So the question remains, what will she do with all that power? And what are her intentions relative to our precious World Soul? So now, as midnight descends, and the second, darker chapter of our trilogy begins, Xalatath has returned to Azeroth, leading an army known as the Devouring Host, intent on snuffing out the light of the Sunwell and plunging the world into darkness. You, the heroes of Azeroth, will be set on a collision course with Xalatath to save not only Azeroth itself, but everything that is.
That looks so good. Okay, Kremlin, welcome.
Hi everyone. As we kick off our Midnight Alpha, we'd like to give you all a deep dive into what's in store. We want to recap everything we've shared so far, along with some brand new details. Today we're going to talk about the story of Midnight, as well as the zones, dungeons, delves, and raids that await if you want to save our world from Xalatath. We're also going to talk about some big new features coming in Midnight, like Prey and the Devourer Demon Hunter specialization. And of course, let's not forget housing. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, thank you for being a part of this amazing community, for choosing to spend your time in Azeroth and with each other. Now, without further ado, let's see what's in store for our home away from home. After all, it's nearly midnight.
The void storm rages in the sky, a surging vortex of shadow and chaos. Xalatath has returned. Wielding the dark heart, she carves a path of destruction through once tranquil lands. Her all-consuming goal, devour the heavens, blot out all light, and bring about her midnight. It is in the shadow of this swirling storm that the defenders of Azeroth must rally once more. For peace, for the light, for the good. This is not a battle. It is a reckoning. At the Sunwell, that eternal bastion of light and hope, Lady Liadrin and Lorthamar Theron lead the Blood Elves as they prepare to make their final stand. Because across all worlds and all stories, one thing never changes. Home is worth fighting for. Welcome to World
cool.
of Warcraft
Cool transition.
Midnight.
Jeez.
Your story begins on the Isle of Quel'Danas. In the immediate aftermath of Xalatath's
Oh, that
invasion,
looks awesome.
the Sunwell surges with light, calling out to all heroes of Azeroth for aid, while the vile creatures of the Void wage a relentless assault in the hopes of extinguishing it once and for all. Flying monstrosities attack from darkened skies, and malign foes manifest without warning to wreak havoc across the plateau. Stand true with the champions of Azeroth as they mount a desperate defense against this invasion. For if the Sunwell falls, so too does the world.
Really?
The defense of the Sunwell leads you directly into Silvermoon City.
Thank
But
you.
not the one you know. The renewed light of the Sunwell symbolizes Silvermoon's revitalization, shining over a city fully restored to a thrumming, living capital. Familiar landmarks gleam with fresh polish, while new areas like the Sanctum of Light and the Garden of Remembrance offer countless nooks and stories to explore. Inside the city walls, the threat of Xalatath's war draws the Alliance and Horde into wary cooperation, with shared spaces hosting common services like trainers, the auction house, vendors, and more. Around a third of the city remains off-limits to those under the Lion's banner, so the Alliance allegiant should tread lightly or risk being attacked on
third.
sight. Outside the city walls, however, is where your role in the fight
Ooh.
against the Void really
God,
begins
look
to
at that
take shape.
skybox.
The strength of the Sunwell infuses Eversong Woods with restorative energy, healing much of the damage of wars past and filling the zone with new growth and new life. All of what you remember of this lush, thriving
clouds.
forest is here. But Eversong is also a reimagined landscape of increased scale and greater beauty. Most noticeably, the Ghostlands and Eversong Woods are now joined into one large zone, which is itself joined to the Eastern Kingdoms. Eversong's flourishing fluorescence is not without complication. Though the Sunwell's light is a boon to the environment, its surging power causes pockets of light bloom, small groves of light-enriched growth, to experience surges of their own. The light bloom's rampant propagation, if left unchecked, threatens to smother all life under an overgrown tangle. Your adventures through Eversong will have you investigating the light bloom, dealing with the aftermath of a Hawkstrider chick gone wild, helping a suspicious apothecary with questionable motives, untangling the secrets of two feuding nobles, and even getting caught up in a sinister murder plot, alongside Magister Umbric as he works to crack the secrets of the Void. It is up to you how your story progresses beyond Eversong Woods, with 3 available paths you can tackle in any order. Brave the ancient troll kingdom of Zulaman, investigate the gnarled hidden roots of Harandar, or accompany Arator on his journey to better understand the light, the void, and himself. Zulaman finds the Armani troll empire at one of its lowest points. The homeland of warlord Zuljin, Zulaman was once a place where Loa bestowed to the Armani their godly strength, and were devoutly revered in kind. The temples still stand, weathered but proud. The eagle, the lynx, the dragonhawk, and the bear. Ascend wind-swept sky-scraping peaks, explore ruins shrouded in fog, traverse stormy wilds teeming with vicious beasts, and accompany Zuljara, granddaughter of Zuljin, and the pragmatic pillar of strength now leading the Armani, as she seeks a means to save her people from void-aligned cultists and the monsters they revere. The Armani are invaluable allies in the defense against Xalatath's invading force. If you help them fight for their home, they will help you fight for yours. At the confluence of the world tree's roots lies an impossible primordial jungle known as Harandar. It is here that Azeroth's entire history wraps, twists, and braids, a literal entanglement of all that has been and all that will be. Harandar is a land of magical, powerful growth. Fungal towers, glowing moss bridges, and entire villages sprout from Harandar's wild, organic fabrics. The pulsing heart of this knotted tangle is the cradle, once the domain of a nascent goddess, long vanished, and now the home of the Haranir, who have for generations lived secretly under its soothing light. The reclusive Haranir are a proud and insular people. They have long avoided interfering in matters of the world above, but Xalatath's destructive ambition does not stop at the surface, and the Haranir can no longer afford the luxury of neutrality. There is another way you can help with the defense of Azeroth against Xalatath's cruel machinations. Accompany Erator, son of Turalian and Aleria Windrunner, on a continent-spanning journey in the hopes of bolstering the Sunwell and strengthening the vanguard of the light. This story-driven adventure finds you traveling with Erator as he searches for sacred relics and attempts to peel back the mysteries of the Void, all while grappling with his own relationships to his family and the light. Erator's mission brings new experiences to familiar locations. Defend Light's Hope Chapel from an attack by Scourge forces. Fight through the darkened corridors of Scarlet Monastery to put to rest those who would pervert the light for their own nefarious gain, and work with Sunwalker Desco in Hammerfall to help Erator in discovering the paladin he aspires to become. Erator's story reaches its climax in the shadow of Blackrock Mountain, when alongside the Sons of Lothar, he must face the weight of his father's legacy and decide once and for all whether he is willing to rise to meet it. The raging center of an unraveling shadowy maelstrom, and the epicenter of Xalatath's power, Voidstorm overflows with violence, chaos, and hostility. Stormfields twist and fold its space. Gravity becomes untethered and tethers again. Insatiable void creatures known as Dominar stalk the storm, each one as unique and ancient as it is hateful and hungry. They carry on their eternal hunt for power under the black gaze of 3 enormous nexus points, hubs of the malicious dark energy Xal'atath draws upon to fuel her void spar and conduct her unyielding assault against the Sunwell. Join Azeroth's champions and the Void Elves in their quest to understand what powers this storm and stave off its approach.
Eritar's weapons look
Though
insanely
much of the
good, though.
world of Midnight lies in the ominous shade of the encroaching void, there is at least one refuge for the weary, the Arcantina. What began as a hidden sanctuary is now a not-so-secret tavern haven for Horde and Alliance alike. A big, cozy space filled by music, chatter, and life.
That's nice.
If the void is the bleak and the cold, the Arcantina is its opposite. A warm spark in the heart of every patron. It is a place to gather with friends, find the perfect comfy sitting room, or just soak in the atmosphere of a well-traveled watering hole. As a crossway for people of all kinds, the Arcantina also serves as a source of new adventures. Familiar faces stop by here and there, spinning stories and offering quests that send you far across Azeroth in search of relics of the past. Follow the course they set for you to discover a fresh perspective on familiar locations. Xal'atath is determined in her destiny, an unrelenting foe with an army that never sleeps. But you can't live every moment in grim resistance. The Arcantina is always here, should you find yourself in need of a little respite.
Whoa, look at that. Where is it?
The mysteries of the
That's cool.
origins of the void and the knowledge and power to stop it are not to be found only on the surface. For true deliverance, as always, hides in snarled labyrinths, looming temples, deadly ruins. These delves, dungeons, and raids are the real font of power, the sacred and defiled spaces from which strength is not just earned, but taken. Across this void-darkened world hide myriad delves overflowing with incalculable danger. Located on the Isle of Quel'Danas, Parhelion Plaza is an outdoor delve that drops you into the heart of the defense of the Sunwell. Fight against the surge of the Void's attack by restoring Parhelion's defenses, commanding an artillery of light, ducking into pocket dimensions, and putting down Gladius Slana, a Dominar who uses summoned Voidwalkers as weapons against your stand. Expect to plunge the depths of 9 other delves and 1 seasonal Nemesis delve when Midnight launches. You do not have to face these delves alone. Valeera Sanguinar is a powerful new companion with a rogue-minded approach to problem-solving. As a DPS, her killing spree ability has her moving through the shadows to lash out at multiple enemies. As a healer, she uses vampiric reaping to rip away the life force of enemies into orbs you can collect to heal. And as a tank, she uses your first mistake to taunt and do damage over time to any enemy that turns their back on her to attack her ally. Valeera is also a prolific provider of poisons that, depending on her role, empower you with more damage, better avoidance, increased speed, and more.
More damage, nice.
Your
here
adventures
comes
in
dungeons.
Midnight eventually lead you down darker paths, paths that end in overgrown corridors and ruin-stricken relics, forgotten places of powers best left unstirred. Yet these dungeons promise plunder worthy of the peril, should you have the courage to overcome the challenges within. Windrunner Spire, the former residence of the Windrunner family, haunts the skyline of Eversong Wood's western shore. The strained relationship of its namesake sisters, Varisa, Sylvanas, and Ilaria, imbues its halls with a sullen, spiteful energy. The restless spirits bound to this animosity threaten all who draw near.
Where's our ogres?
Among these spirits walks the Windrunner's sole brother, Lirith, who needs your help in quelling this restlessness and clearing his once great home of hate. Serenity, however, is not so easily claimed, there are other forces that seek dominion over this domain. Emberdawn, a fire-colored dragonhawk, claims the dilapidated gardens of the Spire as a nest for her young. She is fiercely territorial, answering intruders with both talon and flame. The derelict duo comprised of the Banshee Callus and her loyal abomination Latch lead a band of fanatical undead in a hunt for relics tied to Sylvanas. They meet outside interference with a mix of shadowy magic and brute strength. Commander Krolok, a merciless orc who oversaw countless conquests during the Second War that took Lirath Windrunner's life, stalks the Spire with an insatiable bloodlust. Since being slain in vengeance by Alleria, Krolok knows only torment and the desire to pass it on. The restless heart, a concentrated whirlwind of grief and suffering, born from the conflict of the Windrunner sisters, envelops all who remain in turbulent turmoil. This swirling specter takes the form of a ranger, combining the power of the wind with volleys of arrows to cut down the uninvited. Windrunner Spire was, at one point, a living embodiment of family and of legacy. With the help of Lirath and your allies, you can make it so once more. 7 more dungeons await you in Midnight, each one crawling with the Cutthroat and the Craven. Magister's Terrace and Murder Row in Eversong Woods, the Den of Nalorak and Mysara Caverns in Zolaman, Blinding Vale in Harandar, and the Voidscar Arena and Nexus Point Zenith in Voidstorm. The most tyrannical antagonists of Azeroth work their dark deeds from within Midnight's 3 new raids. The Void Spire, where 6 bosses hold court over the heart of the Void, and muster against the amassing vanguard of the light as it readies to storm the walls of Xalatath's stronghold. The Dream Rift, where you must join in the hunt for an undreamt god that never should have been, and put down half-birthed abominations that lash out against existence itself. And the march on Quell Danas, an encounter still shrouded by the fog of war beyond the known presence of Beloren, the void-corrupted phoenix, who stakes a ceaseless watch over the entrance to the chambers beyond. The Void threatens to end all of Azeroth, to rend the world in the squall of a black tempest. But the extraordinary power it carries does provide opportunities to those heroes willing to embrace it. Devoured demon hunters bend the Void to their will, ripping Void fragments from their enemies and using them as the power source for cataclysmic spells.
Those souls are good
They
too.
are mid-range damage dealers, armed with a summonable Void Scythe, darting in and out of the fray as they dance on the line between control and chaos. Voidblade and Hungering Slash work in concert, dash into melee range to deliver a series of crushing Void Scythe attacks, then use Vengeful Retreat to escape the enemy's reprisal. You can also start this combo off with a Void-charged The Hunt. Metamorphosis transforms you into a familiar state of cursed power. The more you feed it, the longer it lasts. Ride the wave of annihilation by tearing apart souls and staying alive. Reap is a sweeping scythe attack that consumes all of your soul fragments for one massive burst of damage. Use Void Ray to cut through enemies in a straight line and leave them smoldering.
Jesus, so good looking.
Collapsing Star channels the immense energy of a dying star, focusing it into one single destructive blast. The more you cast it during your Void metamorphosis, the stronger it gets. Demon hunters also find themselves with new disciples in Midnight. Void elves are sharpening their warglaives and joining the hunt. Newly awakened to the dire threat of Midnight, the Haranir join the fight for the surface as the next playable allied race. Haranir are deeply entwined with the organic world. Theirs is a culture shaped not by cities or by conquest, but by the roots, the stones, the quiet pulse of the deepest breath of the world. Their armor, their weapons, their skin, all are infused with the inner light of organic power. Even the mightiest primordial predator in Harandar knows to fear the telltale luminescence of a Hananir's markings in the dense jungle brush. They are primal, ferocious hunters, a force of nature unto themselves, who possess the racial ability to travel along the roots of the world from Harandar to any world tree, or from anywhere back to
That's
Harandar.
cool. I like that.
Haranir are versatile warriors who can choose from a wide range of paths, including those of the warrior, hunter, rogue, priest, shaman, mage, warlock, monk, and druid.
And not that.
The last of which has all new forms that reflect the Haranir's unique connection to those
Look at the
hidden
tree
parts
form.
of the earth. Prey is a secret opt-in initiative run out of Silvermoon City by Astalor Bloodsworn, a blood elf with what some might call a colorful past. Astalor is after one thing: anguish, a powerful magic siphoned from Azeroth's deadliest threats, and he's offering generous compensation to heroes who are courageous or foolhardy enough to go chase it. Astalor's lair in Murder Row is your base of operations for Prey, the place where you pick your targets, track your progress, and collect your rewards, including cosmetics, mounts, titles, and housing items. The deeper you go, the harder the challenges and the more you unlock. Prey has 3 difficulties. Normal, which serves as an introduction to the system, along with offering plenty of challenge. Hard, where the ambushes get meaner and the encounters more intense. And Nightmare, which is just about the fastest way to gain intimate knowledge of Midnight's many new and scenic graveyards.
I'm excited for that.
Prey can ambush you at any time, whether you're questing, exploring, or minding your own business. Each time you defeat your target, you increase your advantage by tiring them out and buying time to find whatever dark hole they're hiding in. Higher difficulties incorporate torments, personal afflictions that only impact you. Torments cause a wide range of effects, like creating an AoE damage puddle under recently deceased foes, or haunting you with a bloody spirit that deals lethal damage when it catches you. A torment can also manifest in the form of Astalor's impatience, forcing you to make a kill within a specific time limit before Astalor simply extracts his payment from you. Prey targets are all different, and all deadly. Magister Sunbreaker, a disgraced blood elf whose reckless magic is a threat to Silvermoon and everyone near it. High Vindicator Varim, a zealot who believes the void can only be defeated by covering the entire world in holy flame, and is ready to put that belief to the test.
Yeah, we can try that. I mean,
Executor Canius, a sadistic dominar whose primary hobby is murdering anyone foolish enough to challenge his martial prowess.
I'll kill that guy.
Prey is a way to add excitement, unpredictability, and challenge to your journey through Midnight. But be warned, there's a reason Astalor isn't chasing these targets himself.
He's a fucking coward.
For those who tread the worn paths and soaring skyways of Azeroth, it is more than a world, more than story,
That is so
character,
beautiful,
or
it's
conflict.
unbelievable.
Azeroth is, and always will be, home. Housing in Midnight is dedicated to that ineffable feeling of being part of something bigger, of something greater, of living a real life as a true part of a real world.
God, it looks so good.
Housing in WoW is built to give you boundless self-expression in the place you call yours. Collect hundreds of decorations and dive deep on customization. Place, rotate, scale,
that, man.
and move items to your heart's content. This is more than changing a coat of paint or choosing a different picture frame. It's a sandbox for your imagination. World of Warcraft has over 2 decades of content, and the time you've spent in Azeroth over the years will yield a bounty of housing rewards. Milestones like completing your Legion Order Hall campaign or finishing completionist achievements
it's
like
so good
Back to
looking,
the
dude.
Beyond will award housing items post facto. You'll also earn decor through dungeons and raids, reputation vendors, achievements, quest lines, housing endeavors, the auction house, holidays and live events, and crafting. All professions from all expansions can craft decor. Search the world for lumber, a new gathering resource, and
that's
use it to
cool.
craft decorations that can be bought and sold on the
that's
auction
cool.
house. Many housing-specific items can be dyed, giving you greater control of the finer details of decorating. Imagine your dream home. Collect and craft the decor to bring it to reality. Then tweak it until it is just right. Floor plans are flexible. You can rotate and stack rooms to create multi-floor structures.
Wow.
A variety of room types and shapes are available, including normal squares and rectangles, L and T hallways, as well as some more fantastical configurations. Advanced mode takes the toolset even further, allowing you to adjust each piece of decor exactly as you want. Rotate, float, scale, and more to make your home a perfect reflection of...
This might be the most, this might be the best, house building game ever. It's in World of Warcraft. Yeah, this is like a full-on game. This might actually be the best building game in the world, and it's in a video game that doesn't have anything to do with it. This is insane, dude.
Your taste. And that's just the inside. The outside of your house is also customizable. Place your home how you want it on your plot. Add fountains, statues, planters, and more. Change out your windows. Pick the perfect chimney. Add a tower. And decide on the door of your dreams.
Holy shit.
Exterior plots also have the same advanced mode as interiors for even more modification. At Midnight's official launch, you'll have a choice between exterior themes based on orcs, humans, blood elves, and night elves.
Night elves, yes.
These aren't just skins. They're full architectural styles with unique customization options. Orc homes feature hide rooftops, bonfires, and rugged surfaces. Human homes are rustic, with sturdy stone walls, warm wooden floors, and colorful banners. Level up your house to unlock more flexibility. New rooms and floors, bigger house sizes, increases in the number of spots for decor, and more. Every house is in a shared zone known as a neighborhood, where you and others can show off your homes, build community, and participate in rolling challenges to earn housing rewards. Neighborhoods feature a wide variety of biomes, from spooky forests and coastal plains in Founders Point to lush oases and windswept bluffs in razor-wind shores. All contain different kinds of plots. Some are secluded and quiet, while others are clustered for the socially vibrant. Your neighborhood is faction-coded in its aesthetics, but not faction-exclusive in its residency. You have the choice between two types of neighborhood. Private neighborhoods where guilds or groups of friends can form their own space. Public neighborhoods where you'll find a home among friends you haven't met yet. Private neighborhoods come in two varieties. Guild neighborhoods, which scale to fit your guild roster, and charter neighborhoods, which are capped at 50 homes and are perfect for tight-knit communities. Endeavors are monthly neighborhood-wide activities that bring everyone together to complete tasks, unlock themed decorations, and contribute to helping your neighborhood evolve. Participate in endeavors to earn House XP and community coupons that give you access to exclusive decor. Above all, housing is designed to help you find your perfect space and transform it to your own fantasy haven. To create your own home, sweet home.
And there you have it. Thank you so much on behalf of the entire World of Warcraft team for joining us for this overview of Midnight. And if after what you just saw, you can't wait to get your hands on housing, don't worry, because it's coming your way if you have Midnight in early December of this year. Thank you again, and we'll see you in Azeroth.
You don't want to live with me, cop? Cooldown manager, oh shit. Death recap, oh shit.
Friends, we hope you've enjoyed this deeper look at Midnight. But as you can see, This fight is far from over. The drums of war thunder once again, and Azeroth needs her champions, now more than ever.
Yeah, I'm here. Should I pre-purchase it a second time? Would that help? Okay, yeah, so best expansion ever, right? I mean, I don't, this like first reaction is like, there's nothing that would even, it's honestly kind of like, how the fuck are they doing? Oh yeah, oh shit, where's the Q&A? Was that supposed to be on that same page? How the fuck are they doing that much? It's actually insane. How do they have time to do that much? What the fuck is this nonsense? Is this also where the Q&A is going to be? Yeah, Q&A begins 10 minutes. All right, so, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, that housing shit is like, honestly, I'm kind of depressed. I have to say, like, my first reaction to it, I'm depressed because I know I won't have enough time to go full deep into that. Like, that looks like that could be 40 hours a week of content, man. Like, you can just change your house every day. You could customize so much. It's so much to it, you know what I mean? Season 1 dungeon rotations out. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, you haven't seen Ace Games TV? We've been doing the playthrough of my second Pokemon game now. Season 1 Mythic Plus full rotation revealed. Okay. Oh, you guys are going to like it. I already see it. There's Seat. I was waiting for Seat. Pit of Sauron. We've been talking about that for a long time. Magister's Terrace, Masaria's Cavern, Nexus Point. These are dungeons that are new. Algathar, Seat, Skyreach, and Pit of Sauron. So they got to do some work in Pit of Sauron, but that was the one that we've been talking about for years being the only Wrath one that I think would work. So that's a weird one. Algathar's a good one, yeah. Seat's actually a great dungeon. It was just hard in Legion. I think they'll make that different now. Yeah, the Pit of Sauron tunnel does not exist, hopefully. I'm sure it will, but hopefully it won't. Okay, I gotta run to the bathroom real quick, so I'm gonna do that before this starts. Be right back. Yo, so some questions I have about housing. 1, can you have one for each character, or is it account-wide? 2, can each character have more than one house, or can you only have one, and do you have to choose where you live? And 3, how frequently can you move? Because I would really like to do like a guild one, or like a guild one, I wish. I would really like to do like a stream one. I think that would be cool. But if it's like you can only pick one, then I'm not going to force people to live in mine or try to get people to live in mine. But I think that'd be really cool. I don't know. It's such a cool idea, right? It's like the coolest idea they've ever done, I think. Like legitimately the coolest idea they've ever done. You can only have 2 houses per account. Okay, so it's not character-based. That's unfortunate. I don't like that, actually. Because I would like to have one themed around the character. So like if I play a human, I have a human house, and if I play a night elf, I play a night elf house. But still, it doesn't even matter. I don't play alts. What the fuck am I talking about? But yeah, did you see how well they're integrating the world content? This was people were talking about world content or housing for years, and I said housing needs to come in the game, and they need to add world content to make housing interesting, and they did that. It's like it's perfect. It's perfect. So I don't know. I think I'm honestly like as of right now, I actually am like emotional because I know that this system could capture me, and I'm just not gonna have any time for it. It makes me sad. You know what I mean? It makes me miss the old days when I had just fucking 12 hours a day to play the game. Because it looks so good. It looks like what WoW should have always had. Like, I think this was what the world and the game needed for the world to feel like a social thing and not everybody just flying through. You know what I mean? I really, really, really happy with that. They did such a great job. It's so impressive. Just seeing them, like, meticulously move a lamp on the, like, Z-axis and changing the color of the carpets and all the different cosmetics and the fact that the neighborhoods have different themes and all this stuff. It's like this is version 1. You know what I mean? Think about think about 2 expansions from now what housing's gonna look like. Oh man, it's pretty nuts. I guess I'm the only one crying about the limited racial build styles. Oh, you just didn't listen to what I just said, or maybe you didn't hear it yet, but like there's gonna be more. That's what I mean. This is version 1. I can't wait to see the Tauren one eventually, right? That's why I'm really shocked. It's like, how the fuck have they had enough time to do this? They must have been working on the housing thing for years. I bet that's why they hired all those people like 2 or 3 years ago or something. Because it's like, how did they get far enough ahead that they could do this much stuff in one expansion? Yeah, you'll get an ICC portal. That's an interesting idea. Although there's still the original Dalaran, right? I like having a private place of my own to relax and get away from everything while still being in the game. Yeah, that's so. How does choosing the thing work? Like, is it public? Like, you can't stop people from moving in. I don't know how it works. They bought an entire studio. Yeah, was it literally just for housing? I swear it must have been, right? Which of the Midnight Dungeons look coolest to you? I don't really know the names of them, so I can't answer that. But if I had to pick, I would say Magister's Terrace, because I like Magister's Terrace. But all right, so I submitted a question. It was one of the first questions submitted from what I could tell, so maybe we'll get picked. Who knows? Probably not, but maybe. I don't understand how you can claim a spot and still be in a neighborhood. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think you can pick, like... You can just spin up a new one. Like, if you don't get the spot you want, you just go to a new neighborhood until you get the one you want. It's going to be like thousands and thousands of instances of these neighborhoods. I don't think there's any limitation to them. That's the way it was described to me, but I don't follow this conversation much. They've been working on housing since MOP. They just made the development less public. You think? That's probably not true. They said that they're both private and public options. Yeah, how about this? If we get a private one, Cop, me and you, just us, huh? How's that? And maybe Harry or Ty or something if they play on US. I know people had mixed reactions to the cinematic, but I've been this excited. Oh, yeah, the cinematic was just bad because of the visuals of it. Like, it was just a weird visual thing. But the concept is so fucking core. Like, it's so core to WoW, man. The Army of the Light showing up at the last second while she's on her knees praying. You know what I mean? It's like, holy shit. It honestly kind of feels more like Diablo. Like that level of heaviness. The cinematic was just, the visuals of it was just weird. But yeah, I would love to, yeah, I think it would be cool. If we can do a private neighborhood, I'd like that. You need at least 5 people to make a private one. Gotcha. Well, we'll look into it when that time comes. All right, here we go. Let's see what they got to say. Hopefully Mythic Plus stuff. Oh, why is it muted?
Welcome to the World of Warcraft Midnight Q&A. I'm Randy Jordan, and I go by Kyvax on the Warcraft community team. We recently asked WoW players on forums and social media sites to submit questions, and you delivered. So, We've got 3 leaders of the WoW development team here. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Ian Hasikostas, Game Director on WoW.
Hi, my name is Paul Cubitt. I'm Associate Game Director on World of Warcraft, working on the Midnight expansion.
Hi, I'm Maria Hamilton. I'm the Design Director for WoW.
We got a lot of questions, and I want to get right to them. We're going to start with some housing questions. So, Cyglaive on the forums asked, it actually said, during a Gamescom interview, it was mentioned that Horde players would be able to use Alliance-style housing exteriors and vice versa. However, in a recent blog post, it was stated that the housing styles would be faction-locked. Can we get clarification on that?
Yes, there was a bit of confusion definitely around the Gamescom messaging there. As we just saw in the deep dive video, the neighborhoods ultimately are anchored in specific locations in the world. If you are in the Alliance neighborhood, you are on the outskirts of Stormwind in the Elwyn area. If you are in the Horde neighborhood, you're on the outskirts of Orgrimmar. While private neighborhoods can be cross-faction, you can have your guildmates, you can have your friends of the opposite faction move in, the general setting, the exterior houses there are going to reflect the location. The NPCs that are wandering around the neighborhood, again, are anchored in that place in the world. Maybe something that we revisit down the line, but for the time being, if you're in the Horde neighborhood, the home exteriors need to reflect the Horde aesthetic. Take that up with the Orgrimmar HOA if there's a concern.
Speaking of things wandering around, a player named Hey Hey on the EU Spanish forums asked, I know there are plans for combat pets to appear in housing. Are there also plans for hunter pets?
Yes, so pets are something in general that we are working towards. At release in Midnight, battle pets won't be available to be placed just yet. I think something that we need to solve to make that work on the engineering side is actually making sure that they can path and move comfortably around whatever configuration of objects you might happen to place in your home or in your yard. So we are planning on delivering that shortly after launch. Alongside that, we do want to add the ability to place your mounts in your mount collection. If you want to, have them on a hitching post in your yard, that's something we'd love to deliver as well. Hunter pets are probably trickier. Those are character specific, and housing is an account-wide system really tied to your warband. And so, pulling from specific characters' hunter pet stable would probably be much more challenging. I'll never say never, but that's not in the plans currently.
Decor. Bjorky on Reddit asked, how will the trading post housing items work? Let's say there's a chair on the trading post. Will we have to buy the chair multiple times if we want a set of 4 in our house? Will there be a 10-chair bundle for a set price, or will the purchase give us infinite amount of chairs?
So this is something we spent a good amount of time thinking about. There's going to be lots of ways that you can get decor starting in 11.2.7 and then into Midnight through achievements, through crafting, through completing just the campaign of Midnight and so on. And we ran into a lot of the same questions that you asked, the person who asked this question.
Yes.
Yes, and for that reason, we're actually just not going to have them on the trading post. At least for the first few months, there should be plenty of other ways that you can start gathering decor for your house. And then you won't have to make that hard decision between, do I want this chair versus this cool mount or cool transmog?
Another question comes from Xanther on the forums. Xanther asked, how will outdoor housing plots work? If I want a certain plot and it's taken, do I have the option to try another instance?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Essentially, when you want to move house, you're just going to say, yep, it's time to move. It's all going to get packaged up for you. Paul likes to say that a mage comes along and puts it into an arcane ball for you. Don't know if that's actually,
That is what happens.
Oh, totally. Okay. And then you can go to wherever you'd like to sort of deploy your house, and it just comes right back out of the bubble, set up exactly how you had it. So you can move around neighborhoods, you can move around different plots within a neighborhood. Yep, totally transportable.
Right on. Celia on the German WoW forums asked, will there be updates to the guild system in Midnight?
I think most of the updates we see to the guild system are going to be in the form of neighborhoods. We expect to see a lot of guilds, especially guilds who are playing a lot actively with one another, to build guild neighborhoods where you'll be able to live alongside one another. So instead of the typical ways you're interacting with one another in WoW, whether that's raid nights, Mythic Plus nights, PvP, whatever it is you choose to do. You might also just start running into one another in the morning when you go out to get the paper. And so really looking forward to seeing guilds build stronger connections based on those guild neighborhoods.
I think the other systemic trappings of the guild system are something that we know is definitely due for a refresh. Guilds obviously have been there since the beginning, and there's definitely room for improvement. Our focus for Midnight, though, really was on the housing integration side of it, and the rest of the system is something we hope to get back to in the near future.
A highly upvoted question on Reddit comes from Chilligok. Chilligok asked, will we ever get another texture update for older races? Especially compared to Earthen, the hairstyles are outdated now.
We do have a couple which are coming in Midnight. As you complete the Amani campaign in Zulaman, you will be able to unlock some cool cosmetics for Darkspear Trolls, some cool hairstyles, and actually skin colors as well. And so if you have any Darkspear Trolls on your account, you play through the campaign, you'll be able to get some cool customizations. And this is one of the ways that we do try to approach this, is as it's appropriate to the story, we'll look for cool ways that you can integrate cosmetics into your own character. That's not the only way that we might do this, though.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's something that we see as an issue to chip away at over time. We want to roll out extra customizations, hairstyles, you name it, for the existing races to continue to bring them up to parity with the very newest options. It's not something we're able to do all at once, but particularly where it makes sense and fits the story, we're excited to keep adding them. Our long-term goal is to get to a place where every race, whether brand new or one of the original ones, has roughly the same number of options.
So, as we just saw in the deep dive and going back to the Gamescom announcement, we have a system coming called Prey. And I have a couple of questions here about Prey. System of Cells on Reddit asked, will the Prey system make all mobs in the target zone more challenging, or only the Prey target plus world quests unique to that system?
Yeah, it will affect everything in the zone for you. So if you have chosen to go into the zone chasing a nightmare mode prey, everything is going to be much harder for you.
Whoa.
It's based on an aura that's put on you, sort of like it's almost like an affliction in a way, or a torment. And as you move through that zone, it's going to be harder.
And the player in Prey is on their own?
They are when they finally wear down that boss, if it's in one of the harder modes. Then you need to go mano a mano. If it's in the normal mode, then the rest of the players in the vicinity can help you out.
Gotcha. The WoW creator Fandy asked, is the Prey system planned to be a part of the World Row in Vaults?
Yeah, in one way or another. As we build our expansion, one of the last things that comes in is specifics on rewards. So we don't have the specific details now, but when we do look at Prey, we look at it as similar in difficulty and sort of player activity to the types of things that you do in Delves. And Delves do take up that bottom row of the World Row in the Great Vault as well. So we do expect, if you're running Prey, you're going to see better rewards in that row in one way or another.
Good. I want to get to one of the most highly upvoted questions we saw across all channels. This is from Weird Dandom Ally on Reddit. And that goes, any plans to rejuvenate the glyph system? All classes could take advantage of it for class visual customizations like warlocks have with their pets and druids with their forms.
Yeah, so there isn't a glyph overhaul planned for Midnight at launch in particular, but the general question of more customization for spell visuals, transforms, things along those lines, that's one that we're also very excited about and always looking to offer more customization, more cosmetic self-expression where possible, and the glyph system is a great vehicle for this. It's not the only vehicle, but where it makes sense, that's definitely one of the avenues we would use.
Speaking of highly upvoted questions, we got a lot from the PvP community. I want to ask a few of those. So starting with Keth Cup on Reddit, the question is, do you have any plans on making PvP less daunting for new players?
No.
We absolutely do, yeah. We're really excited to introduce a new feature called Training Grounds. This is a feature where players can enter battlegrounds fighting alongside other players against game-controlled opponents. So instead of fighting against other PvPers, potentially people who have been playing this mode much longer than you, who have better PvP gear than you, and are going to wipe the floor with you, you'll be able to fight against some opponents who you'll have a little bit more of a satisfying win rate against. And because of that, we think this will be a pretty good on-ramp for people who are PvP curious, who want to get into PvP, but feel like there's just too much of a steep on-ramp because of those daunting aforementioned players who want to wipe the floor with you. This is going to start with a couple battlegrounds that players will be able to jump into with training grounds, and we'll see where we go from there. I think,
Okay.
we love PvP, broadly speaking. I think one of the challenges is it can be very daunting to get in, as the question implies. If you're getting into PvP for the first time, you're in some cases jumping into a pool that's filled with sharks who've been doing this for 20 years. But there's so much, there's nothing quite like World of Warcraft PvP and that style of conflict, that style of combat. And so really our philosophical approach as we move into Midnight to really try to rejuvenate and grow the scene is to broaden the base of that pyramid so we can kind of lift the whole thing up and help all levels of it, whether you are the most hardcore person competing for titles at the end of every season. Everyone will be better served if people feel like they can actually enter this community for the first time and discover what is so great about WoW PvP. Let's all be sharks. So eventually.
The PvP player and creator known as Supatees had the most highly upvoted question on our forums. He wrote, "In the War Within, we saw major reward improvements and restructuring for Mythic Plus, which improved participation. Are there plans to look at the current reward structure for PvP, such as rating cutoffs or additional rewards?"
There are definitely plans to look at this. One thing I can say that will be changing at launch in Midnight, in the first season of Midnight, is that top tier cutoff coming down from 2,400 to 2,300 for those rewards and titles. I think looking at how MMR has evolved and how the rating ecosystem has played out, that's been a bit too exclusive even for some of our best players. Broadly speaking, beyond that, I think there's a lot more that we would like to do with the system. That's not necessarily going to be happening right at launch in Midnight, but if you look, for example, at what we changed with Mythic Plus and new titles and new structure and things like the resilient keystone system in War Within, those changes came in War Within patches. So as we look to PvP and its evolution over the course of Midnight, that's definitely an area that we want to focus on.
Got another one. Sandent on the WoW forums wrote, "Will War Mode receive more well-needed attention? More activities like zone objectives or rotating events? Maybe a free-for-all treatment?"
Yeah, we're adding a whole new area into the Voidstorm zone, a giant War Mode area which reflects the same space as the Slayer's Rise Battleground. If you watched the deep dive video, you got to see that. That Slayer's Rise is also made manifest in the zone itself. And this is, if you've played War Mode in past expansions, you know that we've taken a couple War Mode areas and had maybe one in each zone, one in Ringing Deeps and one in Isle of Dorn, where PvP, when you enable War Mode, you'll have some special, unique activities. We took all those and glumped them all together right into this Slayer's Rise area, and so there's going to be a huge PvP playground. If you have War Mode on, be able to do lots of cool world-class activities, reasons to just kill one another, and even if you don't have War Mode enabled, there'll still be PvP-themed content for folks doing world quests up in that area.
Why would you not have War Mode enabled?
That's a very good question. Yeah.
Because you're afraid of sharks.
Yeah, it's sharks.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, MacLemente26 on Reddit asked a question that we saw a lot of, which is, when can we expect reputations from expansions prior to Shadowlands to become Warbound reputations?
So yeah, taking full accountability here. I know that when we rolled out the warbands, we said that we were going to work our way backwards through reputations. We haven't made progress as quickly as we would have liked. We got some of the Shadowlands reputations, but not the Covenant ones. This is something we're going to pick up and resume. I can't commit to a definite timetable, but in the long run, we don't want this, internal disparity between how different expansions reputations are handled, and we'll continue to start with the most recent and work our way backwards.
Thank you. Sixten on Blue Sky said, War Within is the first WoW expansion without a legendary. Can we expect anything in Midnight, or is the team taking time to reevaluate what place legendaries have in the modern game?
I think we always want to avoid things seeming formulaic, where it's like, okay, you can expect it's a new season, there's going to be a new legendary, this is how it's going to work. Legendaries should always remain special. They should feel like these are items that have clear stories behind them and feel worthy of that special orange color. And yes, we're also looking always at issues with how they're awarded. We want to make sure they feel special, but also don't turn into something where it feels bad or grindy because they feel required if you want to be competitive. There's a fine line to walk there. There aren't currently any planned for the first tier of Midnight, but as we face certain foes down the line, it may make sense for some of the items that they yield to have that orange color, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I want to ask some lore questions. So Asmira asked, will we be getting any more background information on story regarding Lyrath Windrunner? Sorry. Any of the other Windrunner family members, perhaps?
Absolutely. I don't want to talk too much about patches, but certainly in Midnight, as we go into the Spire, you will have the opportunity to really get a brother's view of his sisters and an opportunity to learn a lot more about what happened and what's happening in that place. And I mentioned before, we're going to see the sisters.
And Grody Toady on Blue Sky wants to ask about trolls. So here come all the names. Where is Vol'jin's story in all of this? I'm hoping we find a way to weave Vol'jin, Talanji, Zul'jin, Rokan, Zul'jan, and Zul'jara into a cohesive story about troll unity or cooperation.
Well, right out of the gate in Midnight, you're not going to see that combination of trolls, but you will see a combination of some trolls as we continue into patches and move forward. We're very much focused on what's going on with the trolls as well as what's going on with the Blood Elves. They have not always been on the best of terms for reasons, and there's definitely a story to be told about their relationship, and all of those folks come into that story.
Groxy on Blue Sky said, Midnight sees the Paladin forces of Azeroth fighting back the Void at the Sunwell. Can we hope to see more lore about the Tauren and Azeroth's sun god Ansha? Eyes of the Earth Mother told us how he and Elune slash Musha fought possibly the Void in ancient Azeroth.
Well, we are going to hang out with Desco a little bit in the Erator's Journey portion of our campaign at Midnight. And I feel like we certainly are going to look at how the Tauren view their mythologies, perhaps later in The Last Titan.
Okay, good. Let's talk about add-ons. The WoW creator Polka TV said, given the upcoming removal of many boss mod tools, how do you plan to preserve the intended difficulty of encounters once these tools are no longer available?
So yeah, this is a great question. For some extra context, I think folks are going to see in the next day or two, as some of the media interviews we've done in the last day go out, that we are rolling out changes to the add-on API with the launch of Midnight. And so that is going to remove the ability for add-ons to read in real time combat state and combat information specifically. And one of the big reasons why we're doing this with the launch of a new expansion is so that we can really build all of our combat, our encounters around that expectation, around this new ecosystem. As we've been discussing over the course of the year, really the main goal with this shift is to create a level playing field where external tools are no longer felt to be required in order to engage in the content, at a competitive level. And also to shift some of the things that we are testing when it comes to difficulty, maybe away from Twitch reactions and how quickly you can run to the circle or diamond marker that your add-on told you to run to, and rather to more of the collaborative coordination that have traditionally marked cooperative PvE in WoW. But the goal is to keep difficulty largely the same. In terms of how many pulls it takes to down a boss for your guild, whether you are aiming for ahead of the curve and defeating Heroic, or whether you're pushing into Mythic or whatever else, overall it should take you about the same amount of time to accomplish what you're used to accomplishing. It's just that difficulty may come in slightly different places. Without add-ons to solve mechanics for you in real time, it may well be the case that we just need to give you a couple more seconds to get into place, or that there should be one fewer add to interrupt, or what have you. We are going to be rolling out, we're actually going to be launching Alpha with a raid boss available for testing early on. We have a ton of native improvements to the UI, like boss timers, boss alerts, so you can see a timeline of upcoming boss abilities, nameplate improvements, cooldown manager improvements, and more, to, again, kind of create a unified experience that's baked into the UI. But the goal at the end of the day is for difficulty to remain where it was, and we will be making tuning changes in alpha and beta, as well as, of course, once these encounters are live, to make sure that things are landing in the right place and players still feel well equipped to overcome the challenges in front of them.
Following that, Sped Bros on Reddit asked, what is your plan for upkeep and development of these now built-in add-ons?
Yeah, so I think the functionality that we're pulling into the base UI is something that, as always, we're going to be evolving in response to player feedback. Again, part of why we're very excited to get people having a look at these right at the start of alpha is so that we have the entirety of the alpha and beta cycle to iterate on them before midnight launches. And then, of course, as always, even after the game is live, we're going to continue to add functionality based on the player requests and the feedback that we're receiving.
Ossicrond on the WoW forums said, sculpting your UI over the years is almost like working on a classic car. Fine-tuning with different fonts, color palettes, and even different types of glow alerts. What is the depth of the available customization, and are there plans to expand it in the future?
So there's a couple of facets to this question. First off, couldn't agree more that I think UI customization and using add-ons to tailor the aesthetic of a UI, how information is presented and where it's presented, I think are one of the hallmarks of the WoW experience and really one of the strengths of the game for going on 21 years now. There are no plans to eliminate or remove that. The approach we've taken in changing the way the add-on API works really is just focused on access to that real-time information. There'll be details coming out very soon from our UI engineering team on exactly how this works. But whereas in the past, when we have restricted aspects of what add-ons can do, we tend to just kind of wall off sections of our UI and say add-ons can't touch this at all. But when it comes to things like nameplates or unit frames and the like, that would have been an unacceptable approach here because that aesthetic customization is so essential. So there's a brand new system that's been created where essentially pieces of information about what's going on in combat are put in a black box. And add-ons can paint that box pink or yellow or green or make it bigger or smaller, but what they can't do is know exactly what's inside the box and use that to drive logic. In addition to that, the new UI functionality that we're adding, whether it's improved nameplates or whatever, have extensive customizations in terms of size, shape, location, aesthetic, all of the edit mode functionality and more. But we have no intent of pulling back in any way from the aesthetic customization that add-ons have always offered.
Cutting to the chase, Felfer on the WoW forums asked, does this mean that existing add-ons like Deadly Boss Mods, Plater, or Details are going to break?
They will change significantly. I think certainly, day one, if you're logging into alpha and you try to enable them, I do not believe they will work due to changes in the API, but that's standard for any new expansion release. We are inviting the authors of a vast range of add-ons into our first week of alpha, so that's going to be coming up in just the next few days, to get their hands on these changes, to give us feedback about how we can better support their ongoing development. But yes, when it comes to the specific ability to read and process combat information and use that to drive logic, that is going to be changing, and that will affect those add-ons.
Okay, give me one more. This comes from Herrix on the WoW forums. Herrix said, what are the plans regarding improvements to the default raid frames? In the effort to reduce the need for add-ons, raid frames are a major pain point for healers, where the default Blizzard raid frames are basically unusable without at least some external modification.
So yeah, we also have improvements coming to raid frames, definitely with healers in mind. If you're, let's say, a Resto Druid who wants to be able to see all of your HOTS on a target, that's something that we agree is very important and needs to be baked into the default functionality. Same with encounter designers calling out major buffs and debuffs and things that you need to know in an encounter, whether you're a healer or just a raid leader wanting to keep tabs on the state of the encounter that way. And of course, as mentioned earlier, add-ons will still be able to customize the look and the feel and the size and the overall presentation of raid frames. There just won't be certain functionality that is driving logic based on whether you happen to have a certain debuff or not, but all the rest should still be available.
E. Chow on Blue Sky has a couple of questions. Given the connection to the Army of Light, the Sunwell and Blood Elves in general being their main rival in the Burning Crusade, will we see Draenei play any sort of role? Also, will Quel'Thalas be, with Quel'Thalas being part of the main world now, will there be any updates to Forsaken Lands?
So the Draenei, obviously will be part of the fight, part of the battle that we're waging against the Void. But this chapter is focused on the Blood Elves and the Blood Elves struggle with some trolls, and we're gonna really be leaning in there more than we are with the Draenei. Opportunities, will come up for the Draenei to have their moment in the light, as it were.
Yeah. And as it goes for like changes to Forsaken Lands, well, there's some minor changes as we've added Quel'Thalas and Zul'Aman into the main body of the Eastern Kingdoms to connect them in. So there's a tunnel in the Forsaken Lands that does connect it in. We are going to see some Forsaken characters as well. We're actually going to be working with a little bit of a deep cut, but Alonsis Fowl, the Archpriest, is going to be a character who appears and has a couple interesting interactions and chats with Eretor and Liadrin and others. So we're going to continue to build out Forsaken story as we continue.
Yeah, and I think looking at how this is playing out and will continue to, I think we're very excited by some of the reception we've heard from Gamescom onwards about the changes to Silvermoon, Eversong, and more. Honestly, there was a bit of anxiety internally about the idea of revisiting an old location as for one of our zones, whether some players would view that as like somehow lesser than coming up with a brand new place. But I think as people see this full splendor of Silvermoon, get a chance to revisit Eversong and what it's become all these years later, I think the excitement around that really excites us too, because we'd love to be able to tell more new stories in some of the iconic locations that resonate throughout everyone's fandom of Warcraft and what Azeroth is about. And so that will mean updating those locations, and I think that's something that we're excited to do more of as we look forward. Of course, The Last Titan will see us going back to Northrend, so that'll be a story for another day.
Yeah. I think we've for sure discovered that we can tell different stories when we go to old places and see how characters have changed, see how the spaces have changed. It's been a really cool opportunity to do that in Midnight.
Let's shift to some class talk. Faxia on Reddit asked, are you planning on adding any new specs that can tank or heal for existing classes?
Not right now in Midnight.
Was that
I
you?
think, Devourer, Demon Hunter, and that new range DPS spec for them is our focus right now. But I think we've seen whether it's this or whether
It was
it's
not me.
augmentation,
What the fuck?
there is excitement around the idea of established classes getting new specs, and so that is something I think we are likely to explore as we look to the future.
Zerotics on Reddit asked, throughout the War Within, some classes and specs received visual updates, and as a monk player, the update to Vivify was very appreciated. Are there any other classes or specs that can be revealed to be getting updated visuals in Midnight?
Yeah, there's a couple really cool Apex talents. So Apex talents are the new talents you'll be able to learn at the bottom of your spec tree, and a lot of these have some fantastic visuals. Ones that jump out to me are the augmentation, where you summon a bronze dragon version of yourself from the future to fight alongside you for a little bit. The Frost Mage one as well, you summon a Hand of Frost that chases down your target and attack them. And so these are some of the new abilities that are going to get some new custom visuals. As far as looking back at older visuals, as was the case with Vivify, this is something that we tend to do as we continue to build smaller patches. Most of our efforts for Midnight was building all the new stuff, but then as we continue building out the game, we look to the future. This is where we look back at, as we did with Vivify, find abilities where we can raise the floor and say, okay, this one has aged not as gracefully as the rest of our visuals, and we can bring it up to par with the rest.
Following that, we found a question from Nihenna on the German forums, and Nihenna asked, will the Void/Light topic be picked up in any additional class specs in the future? For example, Sunwell effects for a Holy Paladin, or perhaps Void powers for a Warlock?
I don't know about Void Warlocks quite yet, but we do have a existing Void-themed spec, the Shadow Priest, my beloved Shadow Priest, which has a new ability, Tentacle Slam, which replaces Shadow Crash, and it is a giant voidy tentacle that slams down in a line in front of you and has a similar AoE component, but a lot more of a classic voidy Shadow Priest idea to it. We also have one of our Apex talents, the Discipline Priest, has Void Shield, which replaces your Power Word Shield with a Void-themed shield. So there are places where the Void and Light are leaking into our class design.
Going back to the support roles, Neo Saro on the EU Spanish forums asked, can we expect anything new regarding the support role in Midnight? Will it be expanded to other classes? Is it considered that it maybe didn't work as expected for augmentation, and perhaps that just becomes a normal damage or healer?
So we're not planning on currently expanding into other classes, but we're also not planning on changing augmentation to just fit into the existing niches. I think there's a lot of excitement around the idea of support. I think we've seen players embrace that fantasy. I think we are still iterating on evolving that specialization and getting to a place where we can find a happy medium, where it can kind of realize that fantasy and be effective as someone who bolsters the strength of your allies without also becoming so effective that it feels required in groups and kind of limits composition diversity. I think if we're able to achieve that, hopefully when we're able to achieve that, I do think we would like to look to what other ideas might apply a different fantasy to executing that concept.
I want to switch to the topic of delves. The WoW content creator True Villain Manny said, with delves integrated into the story, will there be certain scenarios that are locked in as we level? And will there be additional story in those alternative scenarios with delves?
Yeah, as we move through the campaign in Midnight, we will be entering delves with specific goals in mind. And that particular variant of the story will have the objectives that we need to accomplish as we go through them. As always, our delves will have multiple variants to play through with different stories occurring. So yes, we will continue to use delves in this way, and look for opportunities to continue to build quest content that enters delves.
So let's go inside. Varteris on the WoW forums said, will delves have even greater variety than in the War Within? Maybe a randomized puzzle to solve, a race, a whole new set of abilities?
Yeah, there's a couple ways that delves are changing. We have a new follower, Valera Sanguinara, is going to come along, and she's going to mix things up. She's takes delves a little bit more seriously than Bran does, and a lot more stabbily as well. We also have some outdoor delves that are going to take place in outdoor spaces. This will just change up not only the vibe of the space, but your ability to move around, because you'll be able to use your ground mounts to get around. We're also just taking a look at the mechanics that we're using in delves in Midnight. So you can announce now that Midnight does not have any underwater delves. It also does not have any delves with a mechanic where you have to, say, pick up a candle or a totem and throw it ahead and continue doing that on a continued basis. Folks, let us know how they felt about those, and we're not moving forward with those designs in Midnight.
So Relentless on the EU Spanish forums asked a version of a question we got a lot. And Ian, what's stopping the World of Warcraft development team from doing a world revamp? Could we get a world revamp?
I mean, I think, the idea of revamping everything at once is a terrifying one, frankly. But I think, as touched on earlier, we definitely want to tell new stories in iconic locations. And in doing that, we would certainly do much more than just do a fresh coat of paint on the area. We would really reimagine it and bring it into the present day, as we have with Eversong. Our current focus is, of course, on the story that we're telling for the rest of the World Soul Saga. That will touch on some familiar locations. But down the line, I think the lessons we are learning and the experiences we're having, revisiting some locations, open the door to doing a lot more of it.
Saw a very upvoted question from Solera, a French WoW player on X. Solera asked, without giving away spoilers, very important,
okay,
does Midnight introduce any completely new elven tribes or expand on lesser known ones?
What?
Maybe the Kelderai?
Without spoilers.
Without spoilers.
That's a tough constraint.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's right.
People ask these
I don't think it's spoilery to say we're going to be learning a lot about the elves and the elves' relationships with one another, and that would include Quel'Drai.
Thank you. And Zoris on the EU Spanish forums asked, with the Devourer specialization, all Demon Hunter abilities will use void effects and icons, even those shared by all three specializations. Has there been any consideration of extending this aesthetic customization to other classes?
So I think philosophically and narratively, what a Void Demon Hunter represents, what a Devourer Demon Hunter represents, is one who, rather than harnessing and channeling fel energy, is channeling void energy to turn it against those who originally wielded it. And so that is going to transform a wide range of their abilities. On the other hand, when we look at, let's say, a fire mage or a frost mage, they're not forsaking the arcane when they become a fire mage. And so blink is still an arcane spell, and counterspell is still an arcane spell, and so forth. And so I think when we look at other classes, we generally like to look at that broad base of multiple, areas of focus. And just because you specialize in one thing doesn't mean that that transforms all of the others. That said, touching on some earlier questions, when it comes to glyph spell customizations and other things that players may want to customize the look and feel of their abilities, there's always an opportunity there.
Another highly upvoted question all over the place. I'll take the version of this question from Navarel on the EU German forums. Would you consider replacing the ready-made group in follower dungeons with characters from the player's warband?
Definitely something we are considering. Not something we're going to be able to deliver for Midnight, but ever since the introduction of both warbands and follower dungeons, this idea, this request has popped up. It's something that we're excited about internally as well. There's some technical hurdles to kind of pull that information down in real time and make it work, but it's something we do want to deliver down the line.
Ian's not lying about technical hurdles. There were multiple technical hurdles in the way. We're actually jumping over one of them with Training Grounds, where we're changing the way that some of those game-controlled characters or bots are built to be building Training Grounds in this way gets us one hurdle closer to being able to do what you're asking for.
There are so many people on this development team that I would call technical hurdlers. Engineers, that's just what they do. They jump over hurdles. So, Maria, Silo on the WoW forums asked, will there be new mini-game type quests in Midnight?
Yes, there will be. We actually have a new mechanic that was created for Zulaman specifically, where you will do some, underwater stuff, but it's quite fun. It's the Amani Abyss style. You're gonna be going fishing troll style.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a revelation. I like that. While we're revealing things, Musselton on the WoW forums asked, I'm extremely excited for the Heronir. Can you share more information on their druid forms?
Well, conveniently, if you watched the deep dive, you saw a flash of those. Fundamentally, they all have quills to throw back to sort of the Heronir, but the tank form is a pangolin bear with sort of bat-like ears.
They all sort of got those ears.
Yeah, they
right?
got the ears and the quills, and we have a wolverine for our feral spec. We have an owl-like, quilled owl-like sort of boomkin. But best of all has got to be the swimming form, the swimming travel form, which is an axolotl.
Yep. Axolotl.
With quills.
We're all going to learn how to say
cool.
axolotl.
Yeah, I probably said it wrong, but yeah.
No, I think you got it right. I think you did.
Okay, cool.
The reveal of the Heronir led to a very common question. And a version of that question that I want to ask you came from Racktoner on Reddit. Can you explain the decision-making process for which races to make playable races?
A lot of this comes down to narrative. There's no secret that we started talking to the Heronir in the War Within, and this was not a coincidence either. We wanted to build a familiarity with Orwena, with her crew, so you'd understand who these characters are when they do eventually become playable characters, as we've added them in Midnight. And of course, Midnight is part of a 3-chapter saga. We're in the middle chapter now. The Heronir are going to be a big, important part of this story, and this is why we chose to fold them in.
I feel bad often being the bearer of bad news in these conversations, but I know that it's not lost on us that there are widespread requests from players who would love to be a Sethrak or an Ethereal or the like. And part of the question there is, as Paul said, narratively, does it make sense for this faction to really join the Alliance and Horde if they're cosmic, extraplanar, or more neutral by nature? But the reality of it is also, from a production perspective, one of the things we grapple with is that adding a brand new race to World of Warcraft is one of the most development-intensive things we can do, not just in one-time time commitment, but also in the long-term carrying cost for every set of armor we ever make for years and years to follow. And it's something that we have to weigh very, very heavily when we do. Building a race that uses or shares an existing rig, an existing skeleton, if it's an elven race or the like, makes that more straightforward. Again, that's not to say we're never going to add very novel or meaningfully different races down the line, but it's a very high bar for us to clear when we look at how much ultimately it's going to mean that we have to do less of in other places forever in order to support this additional race alongside the others.
Interesting.
As I've said to you before, I want Saberon. I will wait. I will be patient. Please give me Saberon. So, Massive Bear on the WoW forums asked, will Haranir be unlockable in the 3 days of early access? I remember Earthen were not.
No, not during the first 3 days. Yeah. So during that early access, we want to make sure that we're letting players who are in that early access be able to play through the campaign and understand what's going on, but not getting any meaningful jumps ahead of anyone else who does not have that early access.
Meredith on the WoW forums
cave one, Faxi.
asked, how is Blizzard progressing in the war against toxicity in terms of the entire game?
Yeah, this is something that's a huge focus for us, and really there's many facets to the question and the discussion. I think when people say toxicity, there's a few different meanings perhaps or things that they're referring to. Some of it is just the overt, hostile, harmful, antagonistic interactions that may occur online between players. We're always continuing to shore up our reporting tools, improve real-time monitoring, and get to a place where people who are disrupting our game world can be punished and ultimately removed from it if they continue to do that. On the other hand, though, I think sometimes when people talk about a community or a portion of the game feeling toxic, that can arise from just mismatched expectations. Like, if I am listing a group and I'm trying to run a raid, and I have done that raid 12 times, and I have been through groups that have wiped and learned the encounters, it's reasonable for me as a leader of a pug to only want players who have a certain level of experience, who have also been through those learning wipes and can succeed quickly. And so someone who is looking to learn may feel like, oh, this is very unwelcoming, this is kind of toxic, why aren't we, why am I not welcome here? And ultimately, that's an issue of aligning expectations. And I think there's a lot more that we can do on the pro-social side of things to help people find like-minded players and like-minded groups. There's nothing wrong with wanting to complete something quickly and efficiently. There's also very certainly nothing wrong with wanting to learn and wanting a patient group. Now, if you mix those two groups, there are going to be some conflicts that emerge naturally because of different goals and expectations. So I think a lot of what we're focused on right now is also how we can help players better connect with like-minded individuals so that they can have satisfying experiences where everyone is on the same page, working towards the same goals.
Thank you. I want to rip through some more housing questions. We've got several. Will we get to see our alts walking about, or maybe sitting in a chair in our house? Paul?
Yeah, this is, we're looking at a lot of the same technical hurdles we talked about earlier, not only with being able to show players and other players in game, but also the pathing issues that Ian mentioned when it comes to being able to have your pets moving around and mounts moving around and whatnot. So not planned yet, but something we do talk about as a potential for the future. And I'll take this moment to say that housing is one of those features which is really exciting for us because there are so many cool ways for it to grow. As we've built Midnight and we're sharing housing for the first time, we're going to be looking to you to tell us, what do you want? Is it that we want to see our house? Do we want more features? Do we want more decor? Do we want more ways that I can style the interior, exterior of my house? So let us know as you continue playing.
Yeah, philosophically, with a feature the size of housing, this is something we've been working on for a very long time to really deliver what players have been expecting and what they deserve. But there comes a point when we're developing, especially a social feature, where we're almost hesitant to take it too far until we can actually share it with the community and understand what people are into, what they're maybe not into so much, what they want more of, what they don't need more of, to make sure that we're really putting our time and our resources in the places that are going to maximize that value for players. And so we're so excited to see people jump in the months ahead in alpha and beta, of course, and then beginning this December on the live servers and see where it goes from there.
So here's a very specific question from Alastral on the WoW forums. For housing and professions, it was stated that professions through all expansions will be able to craft housing items. Will we be able to use this as a skill catch-up for the past expansions? For example, could a leather worker, start at Wrath Leatherworking Skill 1, and craft Wrath-themed housing items to get all the way to level 75.
I mean, these will give skill ups for sure. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how many of them will be available at level 1, for example. They may be tuned based on how elaborate the piece of decor is, but in general, yeah, once you get the level that you're able to build these things, then you continue to use them to level up.
So many very specific requests. I want to just give you this one. It comes from Spara on the WoW forums. Is it possible to add a functional bookshelf to player housing that could store and display collected in-game books?
That is so
I have
fucking
a
cool.
lot of those.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. That like once you share housing with the world, then 1,000 cool ideas come out, and so we'll start gathering up all these cool ideas and say, what can we do next? I can confirm there will be bookshelves. Whether those bookshelves will be functional, no, not at least to start. But this is a really cool idea for a collection that we're gonna take back to the team.
And
just leave the book somewhere. Doesn't have to be in the shelf.
Devoneer on Reddit wrote, what is the minimum player limit for a private or guild neighborhood? What happens if you make a private neighborhood with the minimum amount of people and then some of them go away?
So this is something that's still a bit in flux. I think our current thinking is that just like signing a guild charter, you'll need 10 players to charter a private neighborhood. And that's for a couple of reasons. Part of it is, in order for neighborhood systems, endeavors to really to function optimally, there's a certain number of players that are going to be expected to really drive the system. But also a piece of it is just server performance. Using an extreme example, if literally every single player online had their own personal neighborhoods, that would be potentially millions of simultaneous entire districts that need to get spun up, trying to make sure the servers don't melt here. And so striking a balance between what's going to be a good social experience, but also recognizing that players have friend groups of various sizes, and we want to be as flexible as possible. I think if we're able to lower that number from where we're starting, it's something we would aim to do as we see how the tech side of it unfolds.
I saw an upvoted question on Reddit from a player named Backstabbeth, and this is a question I have myself.
Fairly a trustworthy fellow.
Very much. Will there be a list of collections and their sources for housing materials before housing goes live so that we can begin to start hunting for those items, maybe reputation, achievement requirements? I'd love to know what I already have or what I'm close to having.
Yeah, a ton of that is going to be visible in the alpha build coming up in just a day, but we'll have a blog summarizing it, so you don't need to go trawling for the information, and that way everyone can get a head start on checking off those achievements that you may have missed.
Let's come back to a couple of fun questions before we go here. Bail Samel on the WoW forums asked, are we getting a capybara Loa? There are capybaras in the Yamani screenshots. The people yearn for a capybara Loa.
Well, conveniently, there is one. His name is Philo, the capybara Loa of children.
Oh, nice. And I hope he has a prominent headdress.
Absolutely, and a glorious necklace.
That's perfect. Loas should be very well outfitted. Finnerfin on the WoW forums asked, could we see the return of class quest lines? Legion was great, and it was fun to have a unique experience questing on alts.
Yeah, class quest lines come up really often as something people are excited about. We certainly do want to look more at, expanding on classes. We had a lot of fun doing the Warlock one, for example, not too long ago. But most recently, the best way for you to play some class quest lines, if you never played them, has to do with our lore walking, because where we had restrictions, for example, on the Xalatath story, previously, a lot of people didn't know anything about Xalatath and the knife, and by playing that lore walking, they had the opportunity to play that portion of the priest quest line. So we're hoping that as we build more lore walking, you'll have that opportunity to see some of that, but this is certainly an area that the quest and narrative team would be thrilled to do more of.
Good. It's our last question, and I cobbled this together from versions of this question that I found everywhere. I want to give a shout out to some of the people that I borrowed this from. Aziriel, Simplejack, Martian, Zuburius on our forums all asked versions of this. Ian, how will player power progression be updated in Midnight, especially regarding Valor Stones?
So yes, so the way the upgrade system's played out over the last couple of expansions, I think we're happy with the sort of granular incremental progression that complements that spiky randomness of loot drops. But there is, and we agree with player feedback that we've heard, potentially one too many moving pieces and a bit too much complexity in the current system. So I can announce that Valor Stones as a currency will be going away in Midnight. You're already needing to gather the crests that you need, and that should be sufficient. We're also looking to streamline the system a little bit and more clearly pair individual crest tiers with appropriate gear upgrade tracks so that there's potentially less confusion about what crest matches to what.
Anything further, Paul?
No, I think that's great. Yeah, yeah. Super excited.
We're over here pumping fists.
Yes,
We're
absolutely.
very excited.
Yeah, rip Valor Stones.
Well,
And on that note,
that's our time. Thank you, Ian, Paul, Maria. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you to everyone watching along. We've got Midnight Alpha testing starting very soon. We can't wait to see you there and welcome you home.
So 1 hour, that was long. That was really cool. That's actually it now, right? So now we're going to take a look at all the Wowhead stuff. I've already been told about Death Knight stuff. We're going to be taking a look at that. But we're going to react to all the actual other stuff that's been posted, which I guess is some stuff that is interesting. Yeah. So what is this? Talking about combat? This is an interview, I guess. It's going to be a lot of interviews, I think. Talking about weak ores. Definitely not killing weak ores. Hopefully, I will be very interested to see what the early builds look like in terms of add-on stuff. That part was not I didn't like that part, to be honest. I didn't like to hear them say all that stuff about add-ons so quickly into the expansion. So there are no exceptions for add-ons depending on what in-game mode you're in, but some of the add-on logic only applies to instances but not the outdoor world. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the add-on thing, so we'll see how that plays out. Okay, so this has been said a million times since this got announced. I'm really shocked to hear about that. Fully collecting a class set appearance unlocks all lower difficulty variants in Midnight. I'm really shocked to hear about that because it seemed like they were incentivizing the coolest color into LFR to get people to do LFR. So I guess they're just going to tap out on that. I think they've gotten to the point now where they realize, like, people don't really... Like, they want to collect all 4 colors. So, yeah, they don't want to make people do it 4 times. But yeah, LFR definitely was the one that people wanted the most, I think, usually. This is just the physical collector's edition. It comes... This is bullshit. This is not the real Dark Heart. People keep talking about this. It's a fake Dark Heart. It's a replica. Why would you pay for that? The box looks cool, though. And then, okay, so talent trees. We definitely want to take a look at this. I'm surprised there's not more stuff. But yeah. All right, we're going to take a look at Blood Death Knight. Where can we actually see it? You have to look at it here because there's no icons. Why is there no icons? There's no actual way to look at the icons. That's kind of unfortunate because that means we actually have to hover over every single one. They were created by hand. So why is there no icons? But yeah, anyway, apparently they made massive changes to Death Knight talents, so we're going to take a look at them now. The problem with the LFR tint issue is you can't need on LFR pieces for transmog anyway. You can't? Why? You're just not allowed to or something? Stall Penner, what's up? Long time no see. So did they change? It's like you have to look at every single one to figure out. Did they change any of the actual class tree? Oh, wait, what? Oh, rip. That sucks. They're combining those two together. It looks like they made a lot of changes then. What did they... Always funny and frustrating. Sweet. People were needing on LFR gear. They didn't need taking items away from people that actually need them for eye level. Oh. Druids have a talent which doubles Mark of the Wild on themselves. Nice. So veteran of the Third War. That's been nerfed. Down to 12%. Wraithwalk has been combined with March of Darkness, which is going to be a dramatic nerf. What else has changed? Why is there no icons, man? Runic Continuation, that exists, right? Icy Talons, Ice Prison. Suppression, that's not new. Rune Mastery. Null Magic. It doesn't look like much else is new. Gloom Ward's been moved up, or just moved over there. I'm trying to figure out what they actually did. They got rid of 2 talent points here. What was the other one that went away? Soul Reaper, I would bet. Let's see. Yeah, Soul Reaper's gone. Why is that gone? Is that somewhere else? Probably removed from the talent tree. Wool and Necropolis all the way down there? Yeah, that's where it was. So not much has changed. Very, very little. I don't think anybody was invited to the alpha yet, but no, I don't expect to be invited. I don't think the alpha invites will go out till tomorrow. Usually they go out the same day. Okay, so that's that. Any changes to Deathbringer? I doubt there would be any that would be obvious. Wait, Deathly Blows? That's new. Wait, did they add? They added new ones, right? Oh yeah, they added a bunch of new ones. Okay, so what are they? I wish I could have this on the screen at the same time. So they added 1 whole new row. So where did they get added? Soul Rupture? Yeah, it's the right side one that got added. Okay, so we got Frigid Hunger. Upon exploding, Reaper's Mark increases your critical strike chance. Very boring. Death Strike damage increased by 5%. Very boring. And Echoing Fury. Casting Dancing Rune Weapon grants 1 stack of Exterminate with 75% First Sight and 75%. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, that's actually going to be kind of hard to maximize, I think, unless they stack up multiple times. Because if you use Rune Weapon the same time you use Reaper's Mark, you're going to end up losing stacks. But we'll see how that plays out. Alright, let's see Blood. I've heard there's a lot of changes. Are you getting EA? What is that? They changed the icons to be question marks to simplify design. Okay, Blood Boil, Vampiric Blood, Bone Collector, is that there? Yeah, that's there. Early access. Oh yeah, I already paid for the highest tier or whatever. Improved Vamp Blood, Ossuary, Leeching Strike still there, Heartbreaker, Foul Bulwark. Okay, so this is the one that people were talking about. Gorfien's Grasp is now a choice node with Abomination Limb. Sprout an additional limb, pulling enemies further than 8 yards from you every 1 second. It doesn't say how long it lasts, but it doesn't seem to do damage anymore. I don't know why you would take that over Gorfien's, but the fact that it's still a choice node sucks. I don't think you get sights from Reaper's Mark in next expansion, because it's a tier set. Ah, yeah, good call. Okay. Fall Bulwark's still there. Death Strike heals for an additional 20%. Does that exist? That's new, right? Lifeblood. Death Strike heals for an additional 20% of its healing over 5 seconds. Whoa, that's gonna be fucking overpowered as shit. Holy shit, that's gonna be like your top healing. I can't wait to see what that looks like. What did they remove? What was there? Reinforced Bone got moved up. Oh wait, I think they combined these two, didn't they? Improved Bone Shield. Increases your haste by 10% and it can stack 2 additional times. They got rid of the armor from Bone Shield 1, I guess, and combined those two. Also excited for the removal of stones. What is stones? I'm psyched seeing the new demonology talent's nice. You basically always have a hot on you with that. Oh, yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's not going to last too long. 5 seconds only, but... Oh, Valor Stones. Right. Okay, and then there's a new talent in that slot. Plague Infusion. Your Blood Plague criticals have a chance to reduce the cooldown on Blood Boil? That's an interesting one. What'd that get rid of? I don't think there was anything there. It just changed the way it all looks. Where's Tombstone? So it's gone? Wait. Oh shit. Boiling Point. Heartstrike has a chance to make your next Blood Boil empowered, dealing 50% increased damage and echoing after 3 seconds. Wow, that's gonna be a lot of damage from that talent. So the left side's like all DPS shit, I guess? What else? Blood Mist. When you cast Dancing Rune Weapon, you become enveloped in a blood mist that surrounds you for 8 seconds, increasing your parry by 5%. Additional, I guess. Deals damage every second. Each time it deals damage, you gain 2 runic power. Is that just the thing from Venthyr? And then Sanguinary Burst. When Blood Mist ends, it deals a bunch of shadow damage to 8 nearby enemies and heals you for damage. The damage is increased by 2% for every 1 runic power. Ugh, that's gross. I do not like that at all. New talents coming there. I think, what happens to Tombstone? Sanguine Ground, you deal 6% more damage, so they moved that all the way down there for some reason. And that's higher. Isn't that higher than what it is right now? No, it's the same number, 6 and 5. Purgatory is still there. Okay. That's the Venthyr ability, yeah. Consumption? Wait, what is this? Oh, it's gonna... Oh my god. They're making it an empowered spell? Wait. Empower the runes in your weapon, reducing the damage you take over the duration and unleashing a devastating attack. And consumes up to 75% of your blood plague instantly from enemies in front of you. Consumes it. Consumes up to 25% of your blood plague. While empowering, your damage taken is reduced by 5% an additional 8 seconds after. And that goes all the way up to your damage taken is reduced by 15% an additional 2 seconds after. Wait, what? 15% for 2 seconds is 30 total. I guess it'd be 3 seconds total. The math on that is really weird. What does consumes up to 75% of your blood plague mean? For damage? Or healing? I don't know what that means. It must be for healing. I don't like charging spells in Mythic Plus. Definitely not as a tank. What'd you think of the dungeon pool? Yeah, solid. Carnage. Consumption now contributes to your mastery. Each time an enemy strikes your blood shield reduction. So consumption's gonna become like a mandatory spell. Looks like they're really trying to make that a mandatory spell. What else? Relish in blood. We've had that. Surprised that stays in the game, to be honest. Seems really weird. Okay, these are the same. Bloodworms. Deathly Reach. Wait, what the fuck? Death Strike hits an additional 2 enemies. What did they just get rid of there? Oh, Rune Tap. So our Rune Tap's gone entirely. I wonder if it becomes baseline. That'd be pretty crazy if it did. Your Blood Plague and... Okay, Rapid Decomposition's still there. Voracious still there. Blood Feast. That got moved big time. That was over here, right? AMS. Now he heals you. That's gonna be never taken. Bloodied Blade still exists. Coagulopathy still exists. Good. I like that. Iron Heart. Blood Shield's duration is increased. That's still there. Bloodshot, unfortunately, still there. Red Thirst and Umbilicus. Okay. So not much change. Did they buff Umbilicus? No, still 5 times. Okay. So no changes really. There's very, very, very few changes to the spec, but I guess it's going to depend on what those 2 talents become. Because currently Bone Storm and Tombstone are gone. So I bet it's going to be one or the other. I don't know why that would be a new choice node, but both of those are gone. which is very strange. Meaning I think they're really trying to lean into that. Did they change Dancing Rune Weapon stuff maybe? Insatiable Blade, cooldowns reduced. Everlasting Bond. Wait, they did. They got rid of the legendary. Or the old... Wait, no. Yeah, they did. Oh, wow. They got rid of the old Legion, or Shadowlands legendary, right? When a charge of Bone Shield is consumed, the cooldown of Dancing Rune Weapon is reduced. They're getting rid of that. And it looks like with that, they're getting rid of Tombstone and Bone Shield too, or Bone Storm too. That's kind of sad. That talent's so much weaker now. But there's this talent. I guess it must be in this part. We'll come to it. Somebody told me. Somebody spoiled it already. But yeah, they got rid of a bunch of that stuff. Really pruning Blood Death Knight, which is kind of weird. Okay, Dance of Midnight. While Dancing Rune Weapon is active, parrying an attack has a chance to make your next Heart Strike free and deal 150% additional damage. The old Shadowlands 2 set, I think. For each Dancing Rune Weapon active, your damage is increased by blah blah blah, and your damage taken is reduced by blah blah blah. I don't know what that means. For each Dancing Rune Weapon active. Okay. And then Dance of Midnight. When you consume a rune, you have a chance to call a Dancing Rune Weapon to your aid for 6 seconds. So that's the Apex talent. And that's why they got rid of the lowering the cooldown on the other stuff. So I can only imagine, considering this is the Apex talent, this must be way more powerful than it reads. Especially considering what this says. For each Dancing Rune Weapon active. This tells me that there's... I think you might get to a point where you're going to end up having like 5 rune weapons up or something like that. Yeah, I think you're probably going to have one up 100% of the time. Did they nerf the amount of parry it gives? 20% parry. Yeah, they did. Yeah, so that it's 35 on live. And it's now 20. Did they nerf the duration on that? I think... Yeah, 4 seconds, down from 6. Okay, so this really tells you that they are going to give you a lot of Dancing Rune Weapons with Dance at Midnight. They have to, right? Because they nerfed everything about the spell, like in half, like destroyed the value of the spell. So that tells you that they're going to make up for it at least with this. Maybe I would say probably likely more. When you consume a rune, you have a chance to call a Dancing Rune Weapon to your aid for 6 seconds. I would assume that this means you're going to have one up 100% of the time. But who knows? It still doesn't... How long does it last then after that? 16 seconds only? What is the current duration of it? 14 seconds. Wait, how? So, they made it longer, but nerfed the amount of uses of it, and then they're going to give you uses of it by proccing it. That's really interesting. But yeah, I think cutting it down and making it give you more damage and damage reduction tells you that there's going to be like probably like at least like a 80 to some like 75+% uptime on the spell. And then you're going to have more than one up a lot too. Probably like 30% of the time you're going to have more than one up. And that's going to be really weird because then all of a sudden you're going to be just throwing out Heart Strikes constantly. And what was the thing they did with Heart Strike? We read about it, right? Heart Strike has a chance to make your next Blood Boil empowered. That's interesting. These are interesting combinations of things. But it's going to depend on how difficult it is to survive as Blood. It sounds like you're going to have a big amount of passive damage reduction now. If it works out the way I expect it to. But there's still there's no commentary on its cooldown. Like it doesn't have the cooldown on there. Currently 2-minute cooldown without damage reduction, so, or without CD reduction. Alright, I guess we'll see tomorrow when the alpha is actually live. I think that was it. Was there any other things on Wowhead? Just the Valor Stone thing, which I don't really care about at all. So what do you guys think? Alpha's live at the moment. Oh, really? I thought it wasn't supposed to be until tomorrow. I did see a post on Reddit that is interesting too. Hopefully you get the invite to test it out. Yeah, I don't think I will, honestly. Max and them are waiting at the server screen. Ah, damn, well. I guess that means we're not getting in then. But I saw this post. Where is it? Where did it go? There was a post about how big Silver Moon was, but it's gone now for some reason. Or there's just this many posts, I guess. Oh, here it is. Yeah. How much of the new Silver Moon is actually faction locked? You want Gundrak for the next season? They finally fixed Warlock utility. What did they do? Seems like shifting DPS into consuming the procs and casting empowered blood boils to then immediately consumption. Wait, what was the interaction with consumption and blood boil? Gundrak's always been one of my favorites. Gotcha. The horde only part is the actual part of Silver Moon. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because all of this is the stuff that was destroyed by Arthas, right? This is the main thoroughfare that he walks through to go to the Sunwell. And they're rebuilding that, it looks like, which is fucking awesome. And then this was actually just part of the initial questing experience for Blood Elves. So I wonder what actually happens to the Blood Elf starting zone. They basically just broke down the walls and rebuilt all the stuff that was destroyed. Warlocks can AoE apply curses now. They can lock down entire caster packs, it looks like, with the new talent. So yeah. I read it would consume up to 75% of the duration of Blood Boil. Oh, blood. Didn't say Blood Plague, right? Yeah, Blood Plague. I don't think that part matters. I think it's just meant to be like you constantly reapply it. I don't know what happens to Blood Elves, yeah. There was honestly, the QA was an hour long and it didn't say much. I was kind of disappointed with it. I'm glad that they did it, but it was like, why the fuck are you talking about all this shit that nobody cares about? I think they wanted to make it longer to make more people feel heard, but it was just like, they almost didn't talk about Midnight half the time, I felt like. Just a bunch of random questions about stuff that were like, kind of tangentially related. The player housing thing, it made up for all the stuff they didn't talk about. Oh yeah, I mean the housing stuff's outstanding. I just thought that there was going to be more about actual systems. Like they didn't talk about Prey once. There wasn't a single question or answer about Prey. Not a single question or answer about dungeons. And I think the only Delve questions were just about... they asked a question about Delve, right? But it was like a bunch of shit that was just like, why are we talking about this? It was kind of, I don't know. That was kind of strange Q&A, but... There was a question about Prey. Oh, yeah. The one was about... Yeah, no, they confirmed that the house... Or that the world is going to get harder, which is awesome. Yeah, I'm actually really excited about that. Well, I don't even, like... I'm not going to lie to you. I have, like, no interest in doing keys right now. We can try to do Aldani 17, maybe. But yeah, if Alpha's actually out and I didn't get in, then I guess that means we're not doing anything this week. I might take the rest of the week off and just... I don't know, it's like quite depressing to not have Alpha. So I might take the rest of the week off and just get some videos done because I do have a lot of videos that are backlogged. Is Prey a max level only thing? I assume so, yeah. You have to enable it. You remember them saying it was an opt-in thing, so I'd imagine that means opt-in like via B max level questline kind of thing. Sometimes if you like crash the client, it might pick it up, but don't think I'd be in. I was also quite sad that they didn't read my comment, but I guess I'm not surprised considering they didn't talk a single thing about Mythic Plus. They're letting players stay for looks but not functionality. That part really confused me and makes me very concerned. So I don't know what they're doing with it. But yeah, if it doesn't allow me to see who has a who interrupted, then it's like pointless, right? My question was just how do they feel like the Mythic Plus system has changed after the Lever debuff, and do they have plans to implement any further restrictions? But they didn't have a single question focused around Mythic Plus or anything like that, really, so I guess I'm not surprised. Definitely a lot to be concerned with in the next expansion. Unfortunately, they're setting themselves up for that. Are they removing weak ores? I didn't read the article, but they did comment on that and they said no. But I'm not sure what they would be removing. Like, if you're not able to track spells with weak ores, then they basically are removing it. I think it's a bit early for them to answer that. What, my question? No, I mean the question would be answered in Season 3, not even in the next expansion. Let's see what it says on there exactly on that article. Because that's a hot topic. Where was that? Most concerning thing out of today's stuff is there's imposter faxi on Reddit. How funny is that, dude? That was crazy. I was sure that was you. Okay, it says in a group interview with Ian and Crash Reed. Who the fuck is Crash Reed? Is that a person? It sounds like an anime character. Okay. Anyway, many questions were asked about add-ons in the upcoming Midnight expansion. The summary seems to be any combat-related things will not be available moving forward. That's crazy. This seems to be happening earlier than a lot of people expected, with even the first year of Midnight not having any combat add-ons. Ian Hazzikostas talks about the goal of in-combat add-on change and the goal, noting that there's a big technical blog coming for add-on authors. This weak ore is being canned entirely. I just use it for aesthetic purposes. No, absolutely. What does that even mean? No, absolutely not. I just want to clarify here. A lot of the shorthand has been like, oh, Blizzard's killing weak ores. That is not what we are doing. We're going to have a technical blog rolling out for add-on authors in the next day or two that lays out the system we have in place, but it really focuses specifically on reading combat events and combat state, whereas in the past when we disabled, like, we wanted to break add-ons or limit what add-ons could do. For those of you who are familiar with how add-ons work, there was a system called Taint, basically where a portion of the UI could be protected and add-ons weren't allowed to manipulate it in combat, and if they tried to, it kind of broke the UI. That's a very heavy-handed approach. We didn't want to take such a heavy-handed approach because we want to preserve aesthetic customization, that core functionality of just what people have used add-ons for 20 years. The new system that our UI engineers have come up with is what we'll call secret values, where basically the UI still works as before, except that there is a buff on you or a damage event that has happened in combat, and those items are inside a black box. The UI and add-ons that can know that the box exists. They can display information about it in a larger way, smaller way. They can make it pink if they want, whatever you prefer. But what they can't do is know definitively what's inside the box and run any kind of logic based on it. Again, the goal specifically is to just restrict that problem-solving, real-time computation that's used to aid movement. Yeah, so that's what he said in the interview. It's just like, oh man, I don't know. Like the big thing, I guess, like, do I use it for cosmetics? Because I do not. Like, you can do the stuff I do right now with weak ores. Like a lot of my weak ores are stuff that the Blizzard default UI can do, but the Blizzard default UI looks bad, so I just stick with weak ores. Like, and I guess the big one is the health bar and tracking Deathstrike. If they nerf, I'm telling you guys right now, if they nerf the ability to track Deathstrike's power and estimate it, and remove the ability for me to use the damage type weak ore, I suck. Like, I get carried by those 2 weak ores. Like, I'm fucked if they do that. It's gonna be really... Next season's probably gonna be the hardest season ever, I'd imagine, just based on all these changes. Either that or it's gonna be like super over nerfed and it's not gonna be hard at all. Scary times, honestly. After relying on stuff for like 15 years, it's gonna be hard. Smoo, welcome. It sounds like it can show who interrupted, for instance, with Plater, you think? I think of that's the case. They need to really think about redesigning classes such as Blood Death Knight. You don't really need a microscopic level of some value like your Blood Shields. Yeah, I just don't think they can. It's just how the class works, and you need UI stuff to help you figure it out. So if they make that harder to use, then it just becomes harder to play. Because like that's, I think, a big part of why Blood Death Knight's hard to play is because people don't have the info on their screen in good places for them. I hope that happens a lot. People having to admit their scrubs when add-ons are gone. You hope that happens. I don't think you do. You just think you do. All of a sudden, the whole player base is going to get worse. That does not sound encouraging. Or let's put it this way. All the player base who actually play difficult specs are going to get worse. Rep pallies are going to stay the same. So if they make the shield tracking not trackable, that's not good optics. Like, yeah, that's bad. One way or the other, we can agree on that. Very exciting, but also very scary times coming up in Midnight. The thing about like being a scrub, quote unquote, it's like there's always been tools that you can use to not be as bad. And if they're restricting what tools exist, then it's just going to make being good at the game way more, like, I don't know how you would do it, to be honest. Like, I've relied on the tools to such a degree that I don't know what the game looks like without them. But you're going to have to get the info from somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, if I can't use a weak ore to tell me exactly how large my blood shield is at a glance, like, what? That's not optional, brother. I need to know that. Like, how the fuck am I going to survive? You know what I mean? Like, these things are not optional to play well. So I don't know where the info is going to come from, but I can't do it as blind. I'm just going to fucking die half the time. I'm fine with them taking this control as long as they can actually see the relevant info as part of their offerings. Yeah, I would be fine with it too, but it's not like been talked about or explained at all, so I don't believe that it's going to happen. I think they're just going to restrict stuff with no real circumvention of it. I play the game with minimal UI. I have to rely on the buff frame. If I have to rely on the buff frame, it's going to be almost impossible. I think the buff frame is, like they said, that you're still going to be able to make a weak ore to move the buff frame kind of thing, and like individual buffs will still show up. But the thing is, like for example, the Death Strike buff, like it doesn't tell you exactly how large the Death Strike is going to be, right? It just says 8%. So without a weak ore to calculate exactly, like I'm not exaggerating to you, like 90% of the reason that I'm able to survive as easily as I do on Blood Death Knight is because I can calculate how large Death Strike is compared to how much damage I just took in the last 10 seconds. Those 2 weak ores I look at almost every single time I'm in any stressful situation. So if that, and plus the health bar, I mean, if the health bar doesn't stay big and customizable like I have it, then I will be fucked. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. What do you do if healer is pulling aggro while you pull? Let them die and laugh at them. The way class design works, there are so many buffs and interactions of buffs, you can't see them in the jumble of 15 constantly shifting icons. That certainly would not, yeah, there's no way for them to remove that and expect that to work. I hope that it's still there, yeah, hopefully it's still there. But they did talk about combat a lot, and those are combat related events, so. Very interesting. Making it hard to be super excited for the expansion, unfortunately. Did you see the Blood Apex talent? Yeah, we already looked at that. Got 17 resilient, nice. I wonder if, for some, I guess it's just still here, but for some reason, the War Within beta is still there. I wonder if I patch that. I can't patch it while I'm in the game. So probably not, right? Why did they waste so much energy talking about bot PvP? Yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of weird PvP stuff, I guess. Yeah, I guess anybody who has it now has been in for some reason. I don't know. They do this weird thing where like they just let people in far in advance now. It doesn't even feel like an alpha anymore. It feels like a demo. So I'll never be in that. It's on Wowhead. What is? How big of a squish did we get? Oh, must be severe if that's the case. 80 item level. Although don't forget, it's like a template. They're not using their real characters, I would imagine. So we're probably like double that item level on live, just to give you the template that what they expect the actual minimum to go into the next expansion to be. I remember the first time I ever noticed that they did that in the Cataclysm beta. And the Cataclysm beta's characters were like worse gear than old war gear. It was basically like you were like a fresh Wrath character going into Cata. That's what they wanted people to test at, because that would be like the minimum that they would expect you to be. Public PTR build will be out tomorrow, but nobody got into the alpha yet, I guess. What does that mean? That's what I thought. It was supposed to be tomorrow, yeah. But is that because those people were already in because of that, and that embargo was lifted on whatever that server was, but there's not going to be anything playable or something?
These constructs once protected
I'm probably gonna
the
not.
isle,
I'm
but
probably not gonna switch.
this
I don't
one's
know what I'm gonna do yet.
progress has been damaged.
I need to see what Night Elf or what Blood Elf male and female Death Knight looks like before I consider it. I've never played Death Knight as Blood Elf before, like never even made a character. But if I don't like the animations, I'm definitely not gonna play it because I really like Night Elf. Like Night Elf is just my actual real race, I think. The Alliance races are just better. So it's gonna be a very hard conversation because I want to be able to explore all of Silvermoon and feel connected to the city properly. But if the character is compromised, then I won't enjoy that. That would have to be done on like an alt or something. I think like more and more it feels like I need to just make an actual alt and play it, but I don't think I'll ever have like the passion or time to do it. I'm really praying that somehow the prey system reinvigorates the world content in this expansion. Because it's kind of sad how little I've played this expansion, even though I love it. There's just nothing to do in my eyes outside of Mythic Plus. And collect transmog, I guess. But I'm hoping that there will be like Yeah, there will be something that draws me to the world again. I definitely wouldn't go Orc. I don't really like Orc, to be honest. I never really liked Orc Death Knight. Orc was always just the race that I thought looked the best in plate armor for Horde. That was the only reason I ever played Orc. Orc's also like really weak in terms of racials. Blood Elf racial at least would have some value. All kicks add an extra 2 seconds to silence. Oh yeah? If I was gonna play Horde, it would be Blood Elf. That's like the whole point of going back to Horde, is to be Blood Elf. Why would they take away more healer kicks? Full dev notes around Wowhead just posted they took Skull Bash away from Resto Druid. Alright, let's read about that. Let's kill that rare and let's read about that. It's probably, we might not be doing another key for a very long time at this rate. Because I'm almost certainly not going to stream tomorrow unless I get into the beta. And, I don't think we'll do keys again. Maybe next Tuesday. When is Legion Remixed? It's supposed to be Tuesday, but is it actually going to be when the servers come up, or is it going to be later in the day? It's probably when the servers come up. Big healing changes at midnight, moving away from rotating cooldowns. Huh. I don't really care to read that though. Okay, so this is the build for like the first things, development notes. Our Cantina, that's a new... Oh, you can do the campaign already on the beta? Jesus, man, I fucking hate not being in there. It's so you have no idea how depressing it is to not be in the beta, man. Anyway, welcome home. When you log in, you'll be giving a quest, a house for you, which will lead you to your faction's neighborhood, introduce the steward, and take you on a tour of the neighborhood, and ultimately direct you to buy your house. Please note the house costs are not final. Once you have a house, start building. You'll be able to find a variety of decorations on vendors, professions, and throughout the world, and use them to make your house a home. Lay out your rooms and expand into a spooky basement or lofty attic. Explore the neighborhood and see what's hidden around the corner, or say hi to your neighbors. During Alpha and Beta, we'll be adding a ton more content and functionality to housing, including moving your house. Moving your house will become possible. Please be especially careful of your choice since it's not possible to change it right now. Exterior decorations. Housing exteriors will be able to be upgraded in their visual size. Charter neighborhoods will also be enabled, allowing arbitrary groups of players to have private neighborhoods. In the meantime, guilds can create their own neighborhood to test. Endeavors will be turned on, allowing your neighborhood to work together to achieve rewards and welcome new NPCs to town. Social visiting will be enabled, allowing friends, neighbors, and party members to visit. Lumber is very much a work in progress and will be getting a lot of updates, polish, and balancing. We'll also be adding tons of new decorations, professions, neighbor activities, and more content. Don't care about known issues. Some dungeons are being tested. Is that the raid? Yeah, that's the raid. They're testing one boss in the raid. That's crazy that they're going to test a raid the first day of the beta. So 2 dungeons. Stat squish. Starting in public alpha 1, we've squished numbers across the board. Like previous squishes, we are reducing values across the board, including player and creature health, damage, and healing. Item level and stats on items. The squish will not affect player character levels. For players logging into public alpha, the new character templates will reflect the expected player power from level 80 to 90. Item previews in the quest reward pane can show pre-squished item levels. This is a display issue. We welcome your feedback as we continue to work on this feature. While the squish has been applied across the game, it's possible some items or effects may have escaped having been squished or have been squished too harshly. Legacy content scaling has also been adjusted to compensate for the squish. Please let us know if you encounter any issues. Diminishing returns. We are making some adjustments to how diminishing returns work in World of Warcraft. Diminishing returns refer to the system that reduces the duration of crowd control effects if they are repeatedly used. In order to make crowd control less frustrating in PvP, players will now become immune after 2 applications of crowd control from the same category. We felt that very low duration crowd control were making it hard to cast spells and generally felt excessive. For PvE, we are removing the immunity after 3 stuns. Wow. Our primary goal here is to remove the need to track diminishing return states on enemies. Instead of enforcing a hidden and complex system to reduce effectiveness of stuns, we're doing a pass on classes and making sure the amount of stuns and the durations are appropriate for combat. Creatures will no longer be immune to stun effects after 3 applications of the effect. The duration of the stun effect will continue to diminish in half upon each application until they reach 1/16 of the duration. So you can stun 100% of the time. There'll never be a time when you can't stop a cast with the stun. That's probably the biggest PvE change that's ever happened. I would imagine that's the biggest Mythic Plus PvE change that's ever happened. Because there's so many times now where I try to stun and I just do it and nothing happens. Well, this doesn't have anything to do with add-ons, to be honest. Or maybe you're talking about the healer thing. Okay, classes. We would like players to have more effective tools against caster enemies, particularly in dungeons. To that end, we are increasing interrupt duration across the board. Mind Freeze interrupt duration increased to 5 seconds, was 3. Huh. And that's everybody has that 2 extra seconds. Solar Beam now 7, that's crazy. It doesn't say anything about Skull Bash being removed. Maybe that's later? Oh yeah, maybe later. Okay, what do we got? Death Knight class. Death Strike heal reduced to 20% of all damage, was 25. How are they gonna nerf us in the first fucking line? Death and Decay damage increased by 130%. Wow. Unholy Endurance now reduces the cooldown of Lichborn by 30 seconds. Was reduces damage taken. Wait, what? Dude, what the fuck, man? We can't keep eating all these nerfs. What is the point of Lichborn if it doesn't reduce damage taken? What does the spell even do? It just gets rid of the fears. Oh my god, these are brutal, dude. It also increases Leech by 6% apparently. Okay. And that's it. So that spell's useless, and that talent point would be useless. That sucks. Is that because stupid fucking PvP can't possibly have Death Knight DPS have a damage reduction, 2 damage reductions? Sacrificial Pact has been removed. What the fuck? I guess that makes sense. Anyway, okay, Deathbringer, new talent, Frigid Hunter. Upon exploding, Reaper's Mark increases your critical strike. Deathly Blows, Death Strike damage is increased. We read these all. Reaper's Mark does 5% increased damage. Casting Dancing Rune Weapon grants 1. So that's just a talent. The tier set basically coming with Dancing Rune Weapon using it. DPS Death Knight nerfing blood. That's what it feels like, yeah. Alright, blood. Oh god. Going into midnight, we had a few pain points with Blood Death Knight that we are looking to address. On initial pull, Blood has an incredibly long ramp-up time to both get their defensives rolling, but also their offensive power. The main culprit is due to how we turned Bone Shield into a damage throughput resource because of the existence of Shattering Bone and Insatiable Blade. Going into midnight, we have removed Shattering Bone and redistributed its power into Blood's baseline damage abilities for more consistent throughput that doesn't require all the hoops to jump through to start dealing damage. I like the hoops. On the top of Bone Shield, see, this is what people ask me all the time, like, what would you change? The answer is nothing, because it's fucking good as it is. You don't need to keep changing shit every expansion. I don't like this. Having to relearn a spec every other expansion sucks. Anyway, on top of the Bone Shield, on the topic of Bone Shield, we've also reduced the number of abilities that deduct from it, such as Tombstone and Bone Storm. As a tank, you have a lot of things to consider in your role, and adding what was essentially a third resource to spend felt like it was slightly too much. Not to say we can't explore this design in the future, but we will need to be much more cautious and deliberate with these ability designs to ensure it's not encroaching on the already existing resources of Blood Death Knight systems. The other notable change for Blood is focus on making them more reliable and high-end Mythic Plus keys. That's, I guess, good to hear that. Blood historically, outside of the very strong Sepulchre of the first one tier set, has been great at low to mid-level keys, but started to fall off at higher-end keys where their Death Strike healing can't overcome the damage they start to take. To alleviate some of this, we made a pass on Death Strike and all of its modifiers to reduce its overall healing, but at the same time we've distributed that power into their baseline defensives, talents, and blood and bone shields. The goal being to make their damage intake a little more predictable at higher keys and prevent them from falling over before they can start to get their other defensives rolling. We love that Blood has carved a niche for itself as a self-sufficient tank, and we don't want that to change. If they said anything other than that, we'd be fucked. Anyway, we look forward to hearing your feedback to the above changes, as well as the other changes not mentioned as we continue into Alpha and beyond. So we read all this other stuff, right? Deadly Reach, 2 additional Death Strike targets. I don't think that does any healing though, right? That's just the old set bonus. Lifeblood, Death Strike heals for an additional 20% of its healing over 5 seconds. So that's kind of them making up for the nerf to Death Strike, I guess. Blood Mist, that's the new talent. When you cast a Dancing Rune Weapon, you become enveloped in a blood mist that surrounds you. But is it only when you cast it, or is it whenever it procs with the new Apex talents? Blood Boiling Points. Heart Strike has a chance. We read that. Plague Infusion. That's a new talent. Your Blood Plague criticals have a chance to reduce the cooldown of Blood Boil. Which is just like, you know, you're going to be spamming Blood Boil, I think, honestly. Sanguinary Burst. When Blood Mist ends, it deals shadow damage. Consumption has been redesigned and is now an Empower ability. Empower the runes in your weapon, reducing the damage you take over the duration, and unleashing a devastating attack that deals shadow damage and consumes up to 75% of your Blood Plague instantly. I don't know what it means, consumes it, though. What? I think it must be a heal, right? That's interesting. Insatiable Blade has been updated. Dancing Rune Weapon's cooldown is reduced by 30 seconds and now generates 5 Bone Shield charges. Yeah, by updated, you mean that's the same thing, it's just been nerfed. Heartbreaker no longer grants extra runic power from Dancing Rune Weapons. That would probably need to change. A-Bomb Limb is now available as a choice note with Gorfiend's Grass and no longer deals damage. Gorfiend's Grass cooldown is reduced by 30 seconds and it now silences enemies for 3 seconds, so baseline. Everlasting Bond's duration is increased was reduced to 4 seconds, was 6. Voracious now increases Death Strike's healing by 5. Oh my god. This better work. This passive defense change. This better fucking work, man, because they are nerfing the fuck out of this class otherwise. Bone Shield armor increased by 25%. That's good at least. Improved Bone Shield now also increases the maximum stacks of Bone Shield by 2. Does it not already do that? Blood Fortification now also increases your base armor by 35%. Carnage no longer affects Blood Drinker. No shit. The following talents have been removed. Wow, look at all this stuff. So we're going to lose like 5 active abilities from the talent tree. Not that anybody takes Blood Drinker, but Blood Tap, Rune Tap, Shattering Bones interactions with Tombstone and Bone Storm are all gone. Mark of Blood, that exists? Wait, what even is Mark of Blood? What is that? That's what I thought. Oh, it's a choice node. Oh my god, has anybody ever used that a single time? Oh, I didn't even know that existed. That's hilarious. I knew it was a thing from the old days. I remember it from Wrath, just recently doing the Wrath stuff. That's crazy. I didn't even know that existed. No, Bone Storm and Bone Shield and all that interactions were like the why Blood Death Knight was fun, honestly, so. They better fucking hit this hard. They better land there. I better make a video on this. They better hit it because it's not looking good based on some of the paper stuff they're saying. It reads to me like it cuts the remaining duration and instantly deals all the damage that would have happened over that period of time. Yeah, it's just the way they describe it. Consume. Like, it makes you think it's not going to be damage. It's just going to be... Because it already does damage, right? Hunter's Mark is good now. Oh, yeah, what'd they do? Is there any other things I should read? I'm not going to read all these class changes. Anything at the bottom, maybe, that's like items or something? There's a lot of class changes. Holy shit. That's it. The end is... Oh, no, there's professions. Okay, professions. All profession recipes and gathering nodes are available. Lowered the number of qualities for stackable reagents and consumables to 2 was 3. Oh, that's interesting. One goal of having qualities is that players who invest time and effort into their professions can produce more valuable goods. We believe that, as far as reagents and consumables are concerned, the goal is better accomplished by having 2 qualities, normal and high. Yeah, I don't think anybody would ever use a low quality, right? So, fractured sparks no longer need to be combined into whole sparks. Before they can be used in crafting. Oh. Wait, whole sparks drop instead of fractured sparks, and spark costs have been doubled. Oh, so that's just cleaning up that idea. Interface Journeys. A new tab called Journeys has been added to the adventure guide. This tab will help track players track their Renown, Delves, Prey, and Grave Vault reward progress. Only previous expansions, Renowns, and Midnight Delves will be available in Public Alpha 1. Delve tabs have been removed from the Group Finder panel. Players can now configure the Delve companion through the Delve section of Journeys. That's cool. Hunter's Mark is now 3% of damage for the whole target's HP. Oh, okay, that's the best buff in the game then. What the fuck? That part makes sense, Kyle. He says, realizes Blood Death Knight is squishy at higher keys. What they're trying to do is they're trying to distribute the strength of the healing. Like, basically, like, if it's not obvious, what they're saying here is that, like, Blood Death Knight's ability to self-sustain is way too powerful. So we can't also give them high passive mitigation, right? I've been saying that for years. And that's pretty obvious, I think. So they're nerfing the active mitigation so they can give them more passive mitigation. It's like you could only have 100 points of mitigation, right? So they have to take away 25 points that are in active mitigation and put those 25 points in passive mitigation. So that's... What are we talking about? Shaman's Kick, though. I've seen a couple comments about that. Shaman's Kick is still short CD, and with the buffed lockout, I just don't see how the meta won't be Resto Shaman in Season 1. No, I don't know about that, but... Anyway, boss warnings. A timeline of spell casts now appear when engaging bosses in dungeons and raids. The timeline can be moved and adjusted through HUD edit modes. Alerts are categorized into critical, medium, and minor, which can also be customized through edit mode for additional settings. This feature is not completely implemented nor functional for bosses in the public alpha. Updated nameplates. Nameplates now have a new visual style. Nameplates has its own option menu. Preview of the nameplate as options are being changed. Nameplate style. These are new options. Display certain nameplate information like rarity icon, health percentage, and health value. That's not a fucking feature that came currently. I'm not optimistic about this at all, man. Highlights important cast. That's good. That really does need to be there, and that's probably the thing that player does the most right now. Cast bar information? Like what? Types of buffs and buffs to display. That's good for a lot of people. I'm sure they like that. Size of buffs and debuffs. Debuff padding. Aggro display. That's needed. Nameplate sizing. That's good at least. If you can't even change the name size, then you're still going to need an add-on. Show off-screen nameplates. What the fuck does that mean? And simplify nameplate. What? So nothing about kicks, but I guess they wouldn't have that as a feature. Every kick is almost twice as good now, so healer kicks might matter less. Probably not, though, to be honest. They're probably just going to be tuned around it, right? All the Shaman Kicks comments are just me crashing out about losing Skull Bash. Does it say that? What is that in the Druid section there? Because I didn't see where that said that. Vengeance is getting totally reworked. Oh, really? Huh. Old me, I like super old me, I would have read every single patch note, but I just don't even know what half these classes do anymore, so it's like impossible. It's in the Resto Druid section, gotcha. Because it's a class talent, right? What does it say about Skullbash? Skullbash is no longer available to Resto Druid. That's all it says. I mean, nobody fucking... people use it, but... This is like the most exciting part of WoW development, though. Seeing the class changes, I feel like, is the thing that makes it most interesting. Upon login, existing players may be prompted with the choice to adjust movement keys to use strafe or keep them to turn the character camera. That's interesting. Oh yeah, cooldown manager. Added support to save multiple layouts. Right-clicking a cooldown in the cooldown settings window will now give player the option to assign a sound and event type. Hey, that's a good change. That's a good change. We might use that. Did you get alpha access? No, I don't. Are you sure people got in? Here, while we keep reading this stuff, let me log out. I doubt this matters, but I'm gonna try to update it. It won't let me update it. I think you have to like, there's like a thing that has to be, oh, there we go. I highly doubt this has anything to do with it, but. Yeah, but so those people had access to it like weeks ago, and they've just lifted an embargo on that content. So I don't think there's actually like a playable alpha build for regular people yet. I think there was just like a handful of people that were invited to play it early. Lots of skill expression things I think of for Mythic Plus. Resto Druids seem to be gutted. It seems like they did that same thing for Blood, so. Seems like they're nerfing like the complexity of classes then maybe. Windwalker's getting trimmed down a bunch too. It looks like everybody's getting it then, yeah. I'm excited for the dancing wind weapon machine gun and always having DR. Oh yeah. Anyway, in terms of cooldown manager, personal resource display has been added to the HUD edit mode. Shows friendly buff, shows special resources on targets, hide health and power bars, and show only while in combat. Feels like they're changing Blood so much for the idiots that can't manage Bone Shield. Not a fan of that. I am not a fan of it because it's going to be less fun, but I am a fan of it because it does sound like it's streamlining the problems Blood has on the pull. I'm going to have to make a whole video on this for sure. So I think what we're going to do here is tomorrow I'm going to make videos on all the stuff that's interesting here. And then I doubt I'll get in, but if somehow I get in, I'll stream after that. And then if not, then I won't stream again until next week. And then I'll just get some extra videos made. But I just like, there's like, I'm not going to sit in a fucking queue with people who can't finish a single boss. That is like so far from interesting right now after all these announcements. They also removed the ability that proc extras wins. Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised by that. What are your Apex talents looking like? Do you like them? It's bringing back Tiger's Eye Brew. Oh, that's cool. I like that a lot. Do you like the Blood Apex talent? It's gonna depend on how tuned it is. Like, it's gonna depend on whether or not you get a lot of dancing rune weapons. Like, let's put it this way. If I get, like, 5 dancing rune weapons out at a time, I fucking love it, dude. I would, like, fucking frame that. I'd take that talent and print it out and put it on a t-shirt. You know what I mean? But if it's just gonna, like, get us back to the baseline that we already had dancing rune weapon uptime-wise, then it's like, I'd rather it not be random. You know what I mean? And now that I read that, I actually think that it might not be that way. My original thoughts on it, I really need to make a whole video on this, but my original thoughts on it were that these changes were there, like the changes they made here were to facilitate making it way more powerful here. But now that I've seen them talk about better passive mitigation and less spiky like stuff, it makes me think that that's not happening. It makes me think that it's just going to end up being spread out over the course of combat instead of actually being a powerful interactive thing that you see happen a lot. But yeah, I guess we'll see. So what happens if you log on the War Within beta? I assume that is not what we're looking for. Is there actually still servers for the War Within beta? Doesn't even launch. No realms available. I can't even get it to launch. How much has happened? Oh yeah. It did launch. Still 11.0.2. That's funny. What? Like, what happens? Yeah, incompatible. 12.0 press event. Yeah, see? I'll let you go on there. What is that? It's because they kept launching or whatever. It's like playing the cinematic even though I'm on the loading screen. That's weird. Yeah, I'll make a video on the dungeon pool for tomorrow. What other things? I'm definitely gonna make a Blood Death Knight video and a video on the dungeons. Anything else you think I should make a video on? Maybe I'll just make a video on Blood and then everything else. So I don't think more than 2 videos is enough. Or I think more than 2 videos is enough. It's weird that all this stuff's there already. Press event and internal alpha. So tells you that the servers for the actual alpha are not available yet. Alright. I'm gonna go get working on that now then, honestly. And yeah. If you don't see me tomorrow at some point, then that means I didn't get it in and I won't be back until Tuesday, where that's probably going to be Legion Remix. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen next week, but yeah, got a lot of videos to make all of a sudden. So thanks for hanging out and thanks for choosing to watch this with me. It was actually very interesting. I'm actually going to change the title right now because this was only really what was the name of that? Midnight Alpha. I don't even know what that was called. Deep Dive or something? All of the Wrath of the Lich King's dungeons they could have chosen, they chose Pittosaran. Pittosaran's like the only one suitable, I would say. Wow. In fact, you asked about why I'm not subbed to the channel. I don't sub to anything on this channel. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll be back sometime. Yeah, no, if I don't get into beta, I'm going to go into a deep depression. So we'll see you guys after I recover from that, basically. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in some point in somewhere. There's going to be lots of videos still being made, so hopefully you guys will check those out.